Jesus. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. Jesus. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna 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 turn it up and then I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down.
Morning, people. I hope everyone's good. Hope everyone's in a good recovery state from yesterday. Dear, oh dear. I mean, I think most of us got it right. We all knew we was going to go up there and get beaten. We all knew we was going to go to Anfield. We always do, and get a slap. I mean, I said 3-1. Possibly even 4-1. Wasn't far from the result. I don't think many people really were. We did expect to get a bit of a beating yesterday. But seriously, did that even look like serious football to anybody? Did that anybody even looked with any players that actually give a shit about what they were doing? We didn't even get done. We didn't even get done in tactics. We didn't even get done in the. Yes, I know the tactics, the inverted and all that. Liverpool just came out and literally just played football. That's all they did. They didn't even come out and really put the effort in. They went 1-0 down. They shrugged their shoulders. Said, "Don't worry, it's only Spurs. We know what to do." And they played with us to the point that we got Salah mucking about on the sideline, taking selfies with other fans. How more embarrassed do you as Spurs fans want to be? How more embarrassing can this actually get? I mean, for me, I say icing on the cake. The icing on the cake went a long time ago when that cake went stale. But seriously, how far does this have to go now to get this fella out? hopefully that was the final one and the decision's already been made that this man is gone no matter what. Even if we win that Europa Cup, I don't care. I want this fella out of here. He is absolutely destroyed anything and everything that we did have a positive side to at the club. I mean, yeah, fifth last season, not bad. Again, people know my opinion. If he would have adapted, then I think we would have got that fourth place easy enough. But he didn't. We know how it works. But fifth place, first season, okay, mate. Let's get on with it. And then we end up in 16th. And there are still people out there wanting this manager at this club. The more and more I'm starting to look about things and the more and more I'm starting to see a few things, I think it has actually got to the point where it is turning the right way now. And when I mean turning the right way, I mean by people turning on the aspect of the, yeah, it's done, it's dusted, the fella's got to go. He has got nothing to offer us in anything, in any sort of style of the way he plays, what he does with the players. He's just got absolutely nothing. I mean, one argument been having with a lot of people, well, I say a lot of people, I hate it to be the first one to bring up, but my heart goes out to that poor fella, Archie Gray. He finally gets a Premier League start in centre mid, and he goes and gets dropped in the shit against Newcastle. Newcastle, what am I saying? Sorry, Liverpool. I was just looking at something else there and thinking Newcastle. Liverpool. Of all the places you want to give him his go as what, a DM, a centre mid, an 8, a 6, a 10, whatever our midfield actually play. I don't think our midfield actually know what we play. You go and drop him against Liverpool with Bergvall next to him. I was the first one to say to a lot of people, like, yeah, the league's dead, it's done, it's dusted, it's over for me. And it was a little while ago. And I can understand making a few changes when you've got a game 4 days later, a very important game, Europa Cup semi-final against Bodo Glimt, that a lot of people I do find are already sort of brushing that one aside and talking about who do we go to in the final with Man U or Bilbao. Don't underestimate anything or anyone, whether it's football or life, because that's how you get done good and proper, when you get complacent, like this manager does. But back to the Archie Gray thing. Why? Why stick him there against Liverpool? There are other players that could have easily played in that position. We knew we was not going to go up there and get a win. So why didn't we at least go up there and try and do what we did in the second half against Frankfurt? Instead of going up there and getting absolutely humiliated, at least try and go up there. And if you're gonna lose, try and lose 2-1 or scrape a draw or something. Nope. Same way, Ange way, nothing changes, does it? Absolutely destroyed by them. I don't even want to go through the stats. What is the point? What is the point on stats anymore, even on looking on a game like this? We got absolutely destroyed, trousers down and annihilated yesterday. And they didn't even come out of second gear. I think you can even ask the question, did we even come out of second gear? Did we even try and get into it? Yeah, at the first 5-10 minutes, it looked like we was going to try and give it a go. And yeah, Solanke, good header, great header. No two ways about it. Good ball in, Madison, good goal. And then from there, it just went to shit, like it always does. A lot of us have said that if it wasn't for these bottom 3 teams, we would be getting relegated now. We would be in relegation. And yeah, you can say the same about West Ham. You can say Man U would be in it or whatever, but they're not our problem. If he ends up staying, I see us in a serious relegation battle next season. But I don't think he's staying. I think he's done and dusted. I think he's gone. But then the next manager that has to come in, I mean, for me, as all he's got to do is just try and play a normal bit of football and play with the cards he's got. Get the players working again, get them wanting to play football again, get them wanting to play for Tottenham again. I mean, how many of them just must want out unless this manager goes, or even just want out because they can see the way this club is run? He's not going to have an easy job. And this is one, when we get our new manager, we are going to have to back him up. We are going to have to support him. And it is going to be a hard season. I mean, look at the team he's going to be given. I've said it plenty of times, same as others. This team is not a 16th, 17th place club. It is better than that. But when up front, you've got the option of Johnson, Odobert, Solanke, Richarlison. It's not going to be an easy job. And it's also not going to be an easy job getting rid of some of those players. Like, I mean, for me, Richarlison, we got to try and get him out. If someone just offers to take him off us and pay the bloody wages, do you know what, mate? Go on, piss off. He's got to go. We know Romero wants to go. Atletico Madrid interested, but it's already starting to come up everywhere that we want 70 million for him and everything else. 70 million? Really? What has Romero actually done this season, or the past 2 or 3 seasons at Spurs, past 2 seasons, to actually justify a 70 million? It's like what I was talking about yesterday on the world-class thing. Again, not going to go into it. Not going to have a long show with it. What have we actually got to justify the 70 million side of it? I think if we get a 35 million offer for him or a 40 million offer for him, snatch it, take it, get rid of him. Go and get a solid defender, consistent. It doesn't have to be world-class, just consistent, solid defender. Everyone knows the one I like, I think. Milenkovic, called it 1.5 years, 2 years ago. Been saying it for about 3 years. I wanted him at Spurs from Fiorentina. To me, he's a much better defender. Overall, much better player, consistent player than Romero. I know there's a lot of people that disagree with it. It's opinionated. But that is a consistent defender. But then you also got to look on it the other side. Go bring the greatest defence you can ever think of and put it in this team with Ange Postecoglou as the manager, and you will see even the greatest defence with the greatest goalkeeper ever still concede 45 to 50 goals a season. It's what we do. It's who we are. And it is just not going to change until this man goes. I don't even want to go into the Levy shit and everything and that, because I think everyone that comes on these sort of shows knows exactly how we feel about it. And it's you're just sitting there now and you're just like, right, Bodo Glimt, that's the game we got to focus on, so we go for that. But then I get other people talking about momentum. Wouldn't you think the players want some momentum as well? Like after that game against Frankfurt, where we actually muscled it in the second half, scraped it, but got through it, would have had some momentum to take it on to Forest. No, they didn't. And again, with Liverpool, it showed. I am actually seriously worried about going and playing Bodo Glimt, because there's already so many out here who, like I said at the start, who are already talking about a final. They're not even taking, a lot of people are not even taking this club seriously, that we've got to go and play. We've got to do them at least 2-0 at home to go to their ground and have a chance, I think. Yeah, we said that about Frankfurt, 1-0, but it went in our favour for a change. But the way people are already talking about going to a final, don't underestimate this team, because I think a few people might have a shock. I hope I'm wrong, but I have just lost all faith, which I did a while ago. I lost all faith in this manager a long time ago, but even the players now. it just blatantly showed even the players that was on the pitch yesterday, they looked like they couldn't be bloody bothered. I mean, there's just a couple of players I want to go into. Like I say, not going to make it longest show. Got a few things to do this morning. So going to say hello to a few people on the sides. And Dale Denton, big up, mate. It don't hurt. You get wise to it. What hurt is the fan base accepts it. Exactly, mate. It's when that word should come into the club as well, wasn't it? Like, we should be beating Southampton. We should be beating Leicester. We should be beating Ipswich. We should be beating West Ham. But very rarely do I hear it. No, we will beat them. You can never say 100% fact. You don't know what's around the corner. I get that one. But it's all ifs, shoulds, buts, and maybes now. When it even comes to it, if we had Southampton next, I would say we should be beating them. But I'm still looking over my shoulder. And I shouldn't be. At one of the worst teams the Premier League has ever seen. We have the worst manager the Premier League has ever seen. And I still don't think there'd be many people sitting on here saying, we will beat them. I am sure of it. I am 99% sure of it. I'll put money on it even. Because we are that absolutely fucked at the minute that it even shows during the season when we struggle to beat teams like bloody Coventry. Yeah, I agree with you, mate. It was just the title. I'm numb to it as well. I invited my mate over to watch the game. He's a Liverpool supporter. He was going to watch it on his phone. So I said, you know what, mate? Come on. You know you're going to win it. Come up here, watch it. And then I got to go on a few shows on that. And yeah, you do. You just get numb to it. And it shouldn't be like that as a supporter. You shouldn't be numb to these results where it's just, it's who we are, mate. It's Ange. We know what's coming. It should still be frustrating. It should still be annoying. It should still almost get you angry. I mean, take me back a year when we first got Ange in here, and even halfway up the season, even 3/4 up the season, where I'd already called him out and said, I don't want him here. But I still had some passion for the club, for the team, for wanting us to win. I used to sit there and watch with my mates in a pub, at my place, at a mate's place, sit there, have a beer, have a Budweiser, whatever, or a bit of Southern Comfort next to me or something, and watch the game. And yeah, I used to shout at the telly. I used to get up off my chair sometimes. Come on, get in there. Yes, we scored. We even scored now. And I'm like, huh, that was good. We scored a goal. Great. Yeah. Now you put on the ticker on your watch. How long's it going to be before it comes in the back of our net? I used to get so frustrated when we would concede a goal on the last minute, or with 15 minutes to go, or concede a goal full stop, that he would literally feel, not that I would do it, but I would feel like throwing my beer at the bloody wall out of passion. Come on, get your act together, Spurs. It's like you're saying, Dale, you're numb to it. You just sit there now and you're just numb to it. It is what it is. And it's not changing anytime soon. And that's a really bad thing to say. To the point that we are actually numb to it, where it just don't hurt anymore. And Tony, big up Dan, guest and chat, big up to you too, mate. Jimmy Hotspur, big up Dan and chat, big up to you. Hope you're recovering this morning. Like a lot of us are I think we're recovering this morning. It's like I said, we're numb to it, and so it's not even a recovery. George, big up Dan in the chat. And caress that like button, caress that like button. Thanks, mate. Appreciated. Daniel 90, big up Dan, big up to you too. Ali, big up Dan E, big up to you. Paul, morning Dan. Aside last evening, hopefully all's well. Well, at home, all is fine, and I hope it is for everybody else. But football, I just cannot wait for this season to finish. And I have never, ever felt like that. I usually hate it when the season finishes and there's no international competition next or anything else in that. Because then you go without football for 3 months, 2 months, whatever, and you're like, you want football, you want to watch football. We're at the point now, most of us, we don't even want to watch it. Why do we even put ourselves through this pain of watching Tottenham Hotspur play? Why? Why? Because we love the club. That is the thing. We love the club. I've heard a lot of people say, I don't love this club no more. No, bullshit. You're saying it the wrong way. You don't like the club anymore. I don't like the club anymore. I can't stand it. I can't stand half the players. I can't stand that manager has almost got me using a word that I just do not use. And everything about this football club to the point that we're nothing but a business. And that is all we are, to the point that we will go and do something like that, for fuck's sake. You do just keep saying it will never change until Levy and that go. We know that. But this is this is beyond a fucking joke now. Beyond the joke. And this joke is just going to keep on getting worse. Simon, I'm actually numb to this season now. Same, mate. Big up to you. Same as everyone else, mate. And Rob Frank, big up to you, mate. Hope your morning's good. Finishing 5th last season wasn't good considering we were top of the league after 10 games. I totally get what you mean. But 5th for his first season, you still can't say it was bad. I didn't predict we would finish 5th. I don't think many people did. But it was because the way he didn't adapt that we ended up finishing 5th. We could have got that 4th place quite easy, in my opinion. Like I said earlier. I said at the start of this season, 7th, possibly 8th. No, 7th. I went with 7th. A lot of people went with 5th, 6th, 7th. And got told that was very negative. And Ange's going to ride it this year. We're going to go for 3rd place, 2nd place. He's a winner through and through. The main point I put across to everybody is this season, the biggest problem is going to be he isn't going to have those first 10 games to carry his ass. And he didn't, and it has showed. It has showed how those first 10 games of his first season here at Spurs carried him in a very, very big way. Because if we'd have played last season the way we played this season, we'd have still been in 15th, 16th, 17th place. Those first 10 games carried him. And some people still stick to the 10 games like, look, and try and divert the blame from the manager. It is the tactics, people, through and through. Yeah, when your players don't give a fuck anymore, your players couldn't care less anymore, the players aren't playing for the manager, it all goes tits up. Yes, I know, but it is the tactics. A lot of the problems we see are down to an individual problem, an individual mistake. But why? Because the player is just playing so out of sync to what he usually would play as a football player, and the tactics are just so stupid that the players almost panic on the pitch. Professional footballers panicking on the bloody pitch because of the tactics that they're getting told to play. Our goalkeeper, or goalkeepers, should I say, every single one of them, you could see it. As soon as the ball was at their feet, they were shitting bricks. But no, 3 players coming at them, they still got to tap it to the closest man to them. Is it just too old school on my side, or is it really, when in doubt, kick it out? Maybe we just see football different ways at different times, but that's how I would still tell my team to do it. Yeah, all right, if you can do it tactical way, go for it. But when the pressure is on, when in doubt, just kick the ball up the other end of the pitch, reform this way, and we'll take what they come at us again. And George, it's the way we can see goals. Our defending is riddled with mistakes. The whole tactics, mate, is riddled with mistakes. We concede the same goals game after game after game. Rob, also, why is everyone so convinced Gray is a midfielder? He's played more of his professional career as a defender. I don't know what he is. I don't know what the poor fella is. I don't think he knows what he is anymore. By the time this season is done, what Ange has done to him or what he is as a footballer, I don't know what his mentality is like. The poor man probably needs a fucking social worker or a psychiatrist to try and go find himself again. I got told by what the club said that we had gone and bought a up and coming star Archie Gray, and he was going to be our DM. Not that we even bloody play with one, or centre mid basically. And I think he's only started 2 games in the season in the centre mid. And we do know that Bergvall, Gray, they wouldn't have even got a look in if it wasn't for the injuries. And then when he goes on to things about Spence, you didn't even want to bring him to the Europa. You wanted him out at the start. I think most of us, if Spence would have gone, majority would have been, yeah, go get rid of him because we hadn't seen nothing of him. I still don't think he's a great player. I think he's been good when he's come on quite a few times, and then there's been other times where he really hasn't looked the part, but then nor has anyone else. But he's definitely better at defending than Udogie and Porro, who are no sort of type of defensive player. I mean, Udogie yesterday, what the hell was that? I don't know if there's any particular players I can actually pick on or out of this team that can walk off that pitch with any sort of pride. But there were some low standards on there, and then there was how a couple of others played. And Ricardo, big up to you, mate. Ange in my pocket, I'll getting fuller. Yeah, I get where you're coming from. And Jimmy Hotspur turned the game off at half time to watch City game. We ain't winning the Europa. Just be realistic with this clown in charge. I can't believe fans think otherwise, really. I agree with you, mate. I don't see us winning it either. But when it comes to a cup, anything can happen in a game or two. We know that. England. Thank you. That was just my wife bringing in the coffee. Thank you very much. England got to finals through playing absolute crap. Did we deserve to get to that last final? No, we did not. We got to that final for a good moment in a game or two and just some pure luck that we played some poor teams. And when it comes to the big crunch, we got absolutely schooled by Spain. I mean, the fact that that game yesterday, if that would have actually gone into double figures, would anyone have actually been surprised? If we actually lost that game yesterday 10-1, would anyone have actually been surprised? No, I wouldn't. And Daryl saying, Levy is programmed fans to feel no emotion. When losing now, a top club won't put up with it. And we are not a top club. We are not a big club. We are a big business. Nothing more, nothing less. Paul 123, big up Dan, big up to you too. And Liz 82, morning fellow sufferers. Yep. And Martin, what are you saying here? It's just rinse and repeat, Dan. He don't even try anything different or inspire the players. It's just madness. Mate, when I was watching that game with my mate pointed it out before I did to him and I see it, yeah? They're up something like 3-1 on us, totally schooling us. You know the goals are going to come flowing in. And Slot is on the side, pulling people over, shouting at them, do this, do that, get over there, cover him, do this. Our manager's just standing there with his arms crossed. What's he doing? Just assessing the situation? Now and again, you see him shout. Now and again. No, I don't want an Arteta that just runs up the pitch like a headless chicken, left, right, and centre, going right into one like he needs to go and have a smoke to chill out. But surely I want someone like a Conte on there. Okay, if not as heavy as Conte, but at least a manager that gets up and gets into the team. Starts telling them, come on, get your act together. Starts telling the players blatantly there and then when they are doing something wrong. This fella, he just 9.5 times out of 10, he does nothing. Absolutely nothing. Some would even think, does he actually even care? And all he keeps making in interviews is Excuse after excuse after excuse. And then he even has the audacity to try and say that I think we had a good game. Like yesterday. Yeah, we were missing some big players. We were playing some young players on there, and it was obvious it was going to be hard than that. Well, you put him on that fucking pitch, you dickhead. He just has not got a clue on what he is doing. And people will sit here and say to people like me and a lot of other people, and well, I can say it to everybody because we are all only armchair supporters. But being an armchair supporter doesn't mean you don't know nothing about tactics in football. Doesn't mean you haven't got a clue about what is going on a pitch. Doesn't mean you have not got a clue on how to play football. So if I'm only an armchair supporter and my opinion is irrelevant because I am not a top manager like Ange Postecoglou, then pretty much anyone who tells me that, as far as I'm concerned, you're irrelevant as well because you're only probably sitting on that armchair or down the pub having a piss up with your mates as well. So it works both ways for me on that one. And Mark, how you doing, mate? Morning, Dan. Morning to you. What's that? You can have a beer this morning as well because that was that painful, or leave that to later as well. I wouldn't blame you either way, mate. And George, savvy odds have shortened massively with the bookies. That's not to say it will be with him. I agree. Lily White, big up to you, mate. Morning, Dan. Hope you're well, mate. All good, Daryl. Fans ain't bragging about goal difference no more. Down to 6 could be minus come at the end of the season. Mate, we could lose about, what are we on now? 19 defeats. We could be on to losing, what is it now? 22, 20, 24 odd games, give or take a number, this season, only in the Premier League. That is just absolutely, it's not getting much worse. Usually, if you don't get up to 40 points, you are going down. And some people just don't see this. And just want to bring up Phil Coy's coming a member. Much appreciated, mate. Mark as well. And also Phil saying, smash that like and subscribe. Thanks a lot, mate. Appreciated. And Mark, member for 6 months. Big up, Dan. Keep up with the great work, mate. Thank you very much. A user, thanks for the super chat. Much appreciated. Ange is the one who said all we need is great and Berg, exactly. And Rob Frank, member for 10 months, mate, much appreciated. It just gets to that point where you just think, is it just going to get anybody worse? And yes, for me, because I just don't see it getting no better. So with Rob saying, Joel, start again, sorry. At George, wouldn't be my first choice, but I'd take him. I would take any manager over this dickhead. Seriously. Give me Scott Parker. I'm literally at that point. Give me Scott Parker. He's not going to have a worse season than this. He is more knowledgeable in the Premier League than this clown, without a doubt. Understand, some people got it, some people ain't. He definitely ain't got it. People have come over from leagues, and the one to use is Wenger, and come over here and succeeded. People have come over here from big clubs and failed as well. I get that. I gave him that chance when he came from Celtic. He deserved it. Anybody deserves a fair chance. Anybody. But he's had his chance. And he's had his chances. And if they say a cat has got 9 lives, where do I go with that? How many lives has this man got? And George just saying that Rob Frank, I agree, mate. And Rob Frank, the mugs who have already bought the tickets to the final deserve to be laughed at if Bodo knock us out. I mean, the prices of some of that shit as well. Have people seen that? I mean, even to go and get to Bodo and get a game ticket up there or something like that, from what I said on the cheaper versions, from what I see, was about 1,300. 1,300. I ain't paying that to go watch Spurs. I don't care. At the moment, you know what? You could offer me a ticket for free at the moment, and I would say, no, not today, mate. The snooker's on. I don't know. Maybe it's my turn to do the washing up. I am not going up Spurs to watch them play again this season. It is not happening. I am not doing it. I am not going to put myself through the pain of going in that stadium. Can I get up there for the Crystal Palace one? I will do my very best. And that is purely for a protest and nothing more, nothing less. I think that's when the next protest one is, if I got that right. I think. I mean, obviously, we will hear more of it and we will know what is going on. But yes, I will do that. Why? Because I don't like the club. I can't stand the club. I can't stand what this club stands for itself. But I still love the club. And I suppose it just is what it is. And Daryl, sorry, saying, imagine a so-called attacking team who only attack finish on a minus. Danny Miller, big up Dan in chat, big up to you, mate. Wayne, what you saying here? Good morning, Dan. We are bollocks. Yes, we are yesterday, and even Abby Summers is finally Ange out. And that took a while, didn't it? One thing I do get with people, I've said it time and time again with people, understanding emotions isn't a strong point of mine. Like, sometimes our people get hurt with things, with words and stuff like that. I just don't understand it. To me, it's all sticks and stones. But it doesn't mean I don't get it. It doesn't mean I don't get why the person got hurt. I mean, I'll explain it quickly. Some things in life we'll all understand together. Some things in life you won't understand it unless you've been through it. But you'll get the pain or you'll get the love that person is going through. But because you haven't done it, you won't understand it. And then there's just other things in life you don't even get it, let alone understand it, even if you bloody go through it. I get why people wanted this to work. Does anybody actually think that me and a lot of the other channels out there, us negative lot, actually wanted this to go wrong? Just so we could turn round and say, we got it right. You was wrong. No. I don't care about being right or wrong in that aspect. I would have rather had to sit back and eat humble pie and said, you know what? I got this manager totally wrong. I got it totally wrong. He got it totally right. Well done, Ange. Well done, Solanke. 15, 16, 17 goals. Excellent. Johnson, well done. 16 goals. Whether we like him or not, and I think he's absolutely shit on the pitch and offers absolutely nothing but the tap-ins. Sadly, like it or lump it, if it weren't for Johnson's tap-ins this year, then we would be minus 16 goals on there and we would definitely be relegated. Like it or lump it, like him or not. I think I do not rate him at all. But he gets in those little positions and he taps it in the back of the net. And if it weren't for him in a lot of those places, we would be in even more trouble. So you got to give the boy some credit where credit is due. But in the rest of it, I mean, like yesterday, did he even play? Did he? I didn't even see him on the fucking pitch. It is just getting to a point of madness now that, yeah, a lot of people did not want to be wrong. No one likes being wrong. People don't like being wrong. Some people like to be bragging about being right. 1 second. Didn't bring my proper bloody lighter in with me, and these electric ones are a bit weird. I mean, look at that. They are a bit strange. But either way, it wasn't about being wrong or right. People just had an opinion. A lot of us wanted to be wrong, but so many people, it's all about being right, isn't it? Some people just can't understand and accept that other people have different opinions. And other people have different opinions for a reason. And when you can actually back your opinion why you've got that opinion, fair enough. When someone gives you a different opinion, you got to accept it. It's an opinion. But when they turn around and just say, well, it's because I say so, it's what I believe, then that is where I struggle to take another person's opinion in. And yeah, it has taken this long because I just think so many people did not want to admit that they were wrong. And again, for me, it's not about bragging at people. You was wrong. I was right. I couldn't give a fuck. I wanted to be wrong. It's not about that. And sometimes, whether it's football or whether it's just life, you got to put your hands up and you just got to say, I was wrong. This is going wrong. I got to do something about it. I know people who say, what can we do about it? We're only fans, whatever. But my point is, sometimes you just got to admit you was wrong. One thing I will say to a lot of people, I'll only speak for myself here, but I know I can speak for a hell of a lot of others. No, do you know what? I speak for a lot of others here as well. I just won't go through the names. We warned you. We warned you what was coming. There's nothing wrong with being positive. But then, like I say to people, there's positive. Okay, so there's negative. There's always got to be two sides of everything. If there's love, there's hate. If there's good, there's bad. And as all I've heard this year is toxic negative get thrown out and thrown out and thrown out to label. Well, if there's love and there's hate and there's good, then there's bad. And then there's toxic negative, then surely there's fucking toxic positive. And that is a point I will go to in a minute. Brian Daigle, on the way home, mate. I hope your flight's good and everything. Big up everyone in the chat and my brother at HotspurHood. Pleasure to meet you when we did up the protest, mate. Had a good day out. That stick on your head was quality. Top man, always here for Spurs. Nothing more, nothing less. I mean, someone's come all the way over from Canada to get to a protest for his club, shows that he loves his club. How can you show it anymore? And yet people like Brian still get called nothing but a toxic, negative fan. A problem of the club. Yes, Brian, you are a toxic, negative fan and you are a problem. Just like the rest of us. It is our fault the way Spurs is and Levy is, isn't it? Yes, it is. Hope you're all well. Ilana and I on the way to Heathrow as we speak. London, it's been a blast. As always, Levy out, Ange out. I'm 100% with you, mate. I hope your flight goes brilliant. And when you get home, a couple of days over that jet lag and everything will be cushy. Alfie Hall, I was in pain yesterday as I was watching the match, mate. Do the London Marathon, and I walked over 12 miles, getting into different spots to see him. However, I would rather do that than watch Spurs right now. Mate, I have got to do a job after this. Well, I say a job, a chore more than anything. It is my turn to go pick up the dog shit in the back garden. And I'm probably going to do, well, there's no probably about it. I am going to do that with more of a fucking smile on my face, with 2 carrier bags in my hand, picking up Rottweiler dog shit, than sitting here watching and talking about Tottenham fucking Hotspur. Alfie, have a safe flight, Brian. And Brian also saying, cheers, my man. Phil Coys, safe flight, Daigle. Do you know what? I know people don't usually like coming on shows, whatever. But again, after yesterday, I really genuinely want to speak and see what a few people think. I mean, I know I can blatantly read it and see it. There's the link. If someone wants to really come on and say something about it, or just let off a bit of steam, repeat yourself, do what you want to do. It's there. It's open. Yeah. When I have a chat with someone, a debate with someone, whatever you want to fucking call the word, yeah, I don't care. One thing I really try, and I don't get it right at times. We don't always do. But one thing I do try and do, it's like I said about understanding and getting. I at least try. I try to understand the other person's opinion or the other person's point. If I can't understand it, I at least try and get the point they are making to me. And there's been a few times where I've had a different opinion with someone, we've debated it, and then I've said, do you know what? I put my hands up. I think you've actually got a stronger opinion than me. And again, that just goes down to just being realistic. And that is how I just try and live life. Just be realistic. And if you're going to be realistic, there's a lot more negative things in football and life than there is positive. It's just the positive things are that fucking good that when they happen, they destroy all the negatives out there by 100%. And for me, that's just being a realistic person. But again, just call it an opinion. Nothing more, nothing less. And Jimmy saying, big up Brian, bro. Have a safe flight back. Lily White, first time me and my old man didn't watch majority of the game when we could. Feel so emotionless about the club at the moment. It's painful. Feel like a neutral watching Spurs games under this manager this year. Yeah, the neutrals have had a field day, haven't they? And Alfie saying, I'm glad I couldn't watch the game yesterday. I will find any excuse not to watch Spurs. And Ange, right now, I am so out of love with this club. It is untrue. No, you're wrong. I'm sorry, mate. You're wrong. You are not out of love with this club. You still love the club. Why? Because you are still on this channel complaining about it. Just like the rest of us. The thing is, you just don't like the club. The only example I can give is one I've given on several shows, and I'll give it again, and I'll just say it again. My daughter must not like me for this, keep bringing it up, but it is just the main way I can describe how I feel with Tottenham. I loved my daughter. I've loved her all her life. As soon as she hit a teenager, from about 13, 14 upwards till she got to about 17, did I like her? No. Not at all. But I still loved her. I still stuck by her, and I still tried to do everything I could to help her. Why? Because I love my daughter. I didn't like her. And I think it's the same thing you're basically saying there, Alfie. It's not that you don't love Spurs, falling out of love with Spurs. You do love your club. Otherwise, you wouldn't even be watching the shows. You're just like, well, a lot of Spurs fans, you don't like the club. You don't like the business. You don't like what it stands for anymore. But on the other side of it, we have still got so many fans out there who I would even say a majority that still even like the club. Forget Ange. Take Ange out of this. Take the players out of it. But actually love and like the club. And how anybody can like a football club, so-called football club, that has got no soul as far as I'm concerned. Whatever turns you on at the end of the day. We're all unique, we're all different. Whatever turns you on at the end of the day. I can't say that one does a good job for me. And Rich, on the same weekend, we're playing North London forever in the stadium. 0 standards. That's exactly what I'm saying, mate. Tottenham Hotspur BC Business Club has got no fucking soul. No standards. There's no football side to it. There is no soul behind this club. You would never, ever at Everton. It's not happening. That stadium would not be going red. With lights like that. No matter who's playing there. No matter what event is happening, it wouldn't happen. Because the fans would go fucking ballistic. Would that happen at Liverpool? Okay, they had the blue flares out and that. But would they have that whole stadium put into blue lights? Not a chance in hell. You can go to many other places and you can say it. It just would not be happening. Yet, as a majority of Spurs fans, we just accept the business for what it is. That, for me, what happened the other day with the boxing, even though it's irrelevant to football as such, the fact that they glowed that fucking stadium red and started singing North London there and everything, for me, that just showed, like I said, how this club, this so-called football club, has got no fucking soul. And Alfie was speaking to a Spurs fan yesterday whilst walking around London on the marathon, and we both said it's dreadful nowadays, and he should have been sacked. He should have been sacked this morning. But I said he wouldn't be sacked. We all know it won't be. He's going to be here till the end of the season. I mean, for God's sake, do you know what? Just kick him out and give Ryan Mason a go. And do you know what? If Ryan Mason goes total tits up and loses every game for the rest of the season, as long as it looks like we're trying and not playing two fucking inverted wing backs, the thing I've moaned about the whole season, because I think that is the main problem. You know what? The thing that it does actually chew on me, this one, is the point that I don't even think Ange has the hardest job in the world to fix. Call it a random number, but 25% of his problems. I really don't. Stop using two inverted wing backs at the same time, or having one or the other end of the pitch where he's overlapped a couple of times and just use one, but the other inverted one is still up there. And then your two centre backs nearly sitting on the halfway line, or even one of them even just back, and use a bloody DM. There you go. There you go, Ange. Listen, 3 things I just said to you there. Fix 2 of them. And I think that's 25% of his problems calming down with the amount of goals we score, get conceded, the way we concede the goals. Same goals every fucking game without fail. Like I've said to other people, I said it to Stel, I said it to Sava, I said it to Brian, Maz, Haz, Michael, Alex, the list can go on and on and on. We should have just done a show at the start of the season with as many on the panel as we could, set our piece, and then just change what you see when you get on there for the picture. Change the name of the next show. Because it's just been the same. It's so repetitive. The same problem all the fucking time. You get sick of talking about it. You get sick of repeating yourself time and time again. But it's who we are, mate. And Brian, yeah, 2-mark show. Cookie, cheers, man. Hope you're feeling better. And Mark also saying, get in there, Brian. Got my operation on the 13th of May. Mark, hope everything goes good for you, mate, on your operation and that. And Wayne saying, could have got 4th, but we lost 5 games in a row. Yeah. And what do some people say? Shit happens. And trending Spurs. Sorry, I'm a bit behind on the chat at the moment. I'm about 30 minutes behind, actually. And that's right, Dan. I just look at the screen now, and my daughter said, hopes up, Dad. You never know. And I said, no. I know we're a shambles. Tottenham Hotspur. God forbid the day that it comes in that I end up having a grandchild, a grandson especially. And a user, again, thanks for a super chat, mate, is appreciated. Will I really have the heart to try and make him a Spurs supporter? Would I really want to put a grandson or granddaughter, whatever, when it happens sooner or later, rather later than sooner, personally, but when it happens, would I want to put them through that same fucking pain of being a Spurs supporter that I have had to go through, basically since being a Spurs supporter, bar a few good moments? No, I really don't know. What do I do? Do I just hand him a Man City shirt? Do I just say, go and enjoy it? Do I give him a Liverpool shirt? I don't think I could just give him any other London club, but do you know what? Fuck it. There you go, mate. There's Liverpool shirt. I don't want to hurt you. I'm meant to be your granddad. I'm meant to love you. But I'm not a granddad yet, and hopefully for a long time yet. It won't be. Good few years. Don't think I'm quite ready for that shit yet. But either way. And Gus Parker. Morning, Dan. Gray isn't anything. He's there because of who his dad is. That's it. Sideways, backwards, 5-yard passes, make you a player nowadays, it seems. Again, mate, football for me, the tactics and everything have killed it. But with Gray, I do see there is a chance of a player there, yeah? No, I don't see Bergvall, on the other hand. I see we've got a player there that if he's coached and managed the right way, I think we've got a player with a lot of potential there. Now, no, I'm not going to go into saying he's going to be a world-class player or no crap like that. But with the right coach, this team would play better. But I also think with Bergvall, we got a good player there. We got potential. There is that phrase, how do people use it? There's a ceiling there, a higher ceiling. Archie Gray, I'm sorry, but he just hasn't done anything for me to turn around and say, yeah, we got a player there. When he's played for us at right back and centre back, he's done respectable. Fair play to him. Like I said, I feel for him. And then just slammed into it yesterday with Liverpool. We all knew, bar one or two of us, that he was going to get absolutely annihilated. And it did. Alex, how we doing, mate? We are winning Borough Glimt and sheer way to winning the Europa League. Mate, I believe it when I see it. This manager will be lucky. Just don't. It would be the first time I would ever win a cup at Spurs. Yes, I will be happy. I will be over the moon. But when it comes to being in the Champions League, I would almost be embarrassed to go into that Champions League because we finished 16th or 17th or 15th, whatever way we end up finishing. And we got into it through the skin of the teeth, through going through the Europa Cup. Because I would still be in... Can you imagine that? It would just be the most Spursy season ever, that when they're reading out who is in the Champions League and Spurs or even Man U, who finished 15th or 17th in this league, and they're in the Champions League. Shocking. A user, no. Phil Coyes, at least Gray has had a lot of games this season to see what his level is all about. Let's see if the experience will help him or hinder him. I think it's hindered him. I think this has held him back. What we need to do is we need to go and get that boy a good club to go on loan next season, like top clubs do. First one to put on the list that I think of, you go to Arsenal. Why? They got Saliba. People said 20 million. That's a bit much for Saliba, or 25, whatever it was they paid for him. They said, nope, just wait. Here you go. Stuck him straight out on loan. 2 years, he comes back, one of the best defenders in the Premiership, in the Premier League. Simple as that. That is what you do. Unless that young player has got that potential to get at least on that subs bench and come on and deliver every time he needs to, like Bergvall has started doing. It's just he annoys me with that last bit, that he just don't seem to get that last bit right, that last pass or that last shot. But again, he's a young player. You give him some slack. Gray has got to go out on loan for his own sake, for his own sake of mind, for the sake of his career, or he needs to go back to a smaller, well, I say a smaller club, we're finishing fucking 17th most probably, but he needs to go to a club where he's going to get regular time in his position and get coached properly. And Destiny 5, big up to you, mate. I hope you're doing well. Big up Dan and chat. We are a big mess, not a big club. We are not a big club. I've said it for a long time, mate. And Rich, and sorry if I've only just noticed you, mate. I haven't even looked at the bottom. Corey, how you doing, mate?
I said it yesterday. Yeah, I'm good. Once that second goal went in yesterday, I went and started painting my son's bedroom.
I didn't notice how you were sitting there, mate. Sorry if you
That's
were.
Right. I've been watching, man. So yeah, I mean, it's just funny.
Right, come on. Just before we go into it, yeah, just want to say to a few more people and that. And Rich, we're a small club with big revenues. Exactly that, mate. Nothing more, nothing less. Robski, morning. Honestly, do you want this manager to win and be successful in 20 years? I don't. Football results don't bother Levy, making money elsewhere now. And the Broomverse, pray for Bodo Glynn. And Alex also saying, it was the Frankfurt game that done it for me. It should have been over at that. But he used his coaching staff to help him, or the players were pragmatic. I mean, do we know what happened there? I don't know. Did the players just say, bollocks, we're going to sit back? Who knows? We weren't there. Destiny, Conte headed, kicked every ball from the sidelines. You know what I mean? The man. Corey, go for it, mate. Yesterday. Go on. Go for it.
When you hearing people thinking you're going to get a result at Anfield when we've had one win in, 15 years?
And we knew it weren't going to happen.
I knew it weren't going to happen. Then I saw the team line up and I was actually, whoa, he's actually going to put Gray in his position. all right, he's going to feed him to the wolves here. They're going to pick apart. And
literally.
they literally destroyed. They took the meat off the bone, whatever meat we've got left as a club. I think we're down to like the gelatin around the bone at the minute.
If you want to be honest, I don't even think he left him out to the wolves. I think he put poor Archie Gray out to the pigs. And the difference between pigs and wolves is that pigs also eat the fucking bones.
Yeah, pigs will eat everything. But like literally yesterday, the second goal went in. I went, fuck this. I went to start painting my son's bedroom. Literally dumb. I was like, fuck it. By the time the second goal, I knew the third, the fourth, the fifth were going to come because 1, we can't defend. 2, where's the midfield? 3, we've been saying the same shit, and I have been for 24 months. So to sit here on my perch looking down going, right, I've said this from day one, there's something to sit here and smile about. You know, I did my research on this manager before he come. There was talk from quite some time ago with one of his coaches in Australia and actually said to Ange that if you play this kind of style, if you ever make it to the Premier League, you're going to get found out. Even with the first 10 games when he came in, I sat there, I was like, I'm not happy. This is still shit. We were lucky to beat Sheffield.
Yeah.
It took us the 100th minute to win. And you want to talk about footballers that are only there because of their dads. Let's not forget about Johnson, because Johnson is only there because his dad was half serviceable when he was a footballer. So, yeah, I mean, we're run so poorly from top to bottom. Even Doris the tea lady needs to get shot. I'm getting fed up with like, every week the same shit, the ball over the top. I can see it coming. Every fan can see it coming, and there's still a select group of fans going, "Don't worry, Archie's the man." Go, leave. The problem stems from these fans as well, because they're trying to cause divide between everything, and it's just shocking, isn't it? Top to bottom.
It's who we are, mate, and that is what we are. And it just, I mean, yesterday, like I said, we all knew we was going. We all know we was going to get smashed yesterday, yeah. But I didn't think it was going to be quite like that. And then when I see the team, I was like, "Oh, you're now going to stick Gray on and Bergvall with McAllister and what's his name? I forgot the other bloody name now. I'm terrible remembering players' names. Who's it who plays alongside McAllister in the mid? Either way,
you look at it on paper, player for player, Liverpool, even with their changes like reserve or their other 15, there's still a lot miles above levels above ours.
Look, if you was a parent and you basically did, I mean, people call Archie Gray a kid. He's 18, 19. That's not quite a kid for me, but that's still a very young player. I go for that. I don't like it when people start calling players that are 22, 23, 24 that they're only kids. No, bollocks.
They're adults.
You know what? If someone went and literally, if someone literally went and done that to their kid, that's neglect, mate. You got social workers knocking on your door. That is how bad I'm not going to keep on going on about Archie Gray and that. But yesterday, with some of those players, look, one thing I'm starting to get worried about now, Corey, yeah, in a big way, is Vicario. And he's one that I backed up at the start when we got him, yeah, because he had a good season and a half in Syria, yeah. I've told a lot of people he's a good goalkeeper.
I even said that. Now I'm
excellent shot stopper. Excellent shot stopper.
Oh yeah,
I'd say one of the top 4 as a shot stopper. And
get him off.
the rest of it,
right.
The rest of it, I think Vicario is it the defense that's making him become like this? I don't just think it's the defense. The defense have no faith in the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper has no faith in the defense. Defense have no faith in fucking midfield, and the defense have no faith in attack. The team each player has no faith in every other player on that pitch.
And it's down to the tactical system as well as coaching, because to have a solid...
And that is where it comes back to the coaching.
And everything comes back to it. I was going to say that. Like, literally comes back to the coaching. It comes down to the tactics. It comes down to how they're drilled on the training field day in, day out. When you're seeing videos of the guys at the training ground sitting around playing a game of fucking Monopoly, pisses me off. I can tell you now, as a youth trainee at Brighton, mate, that you didn't do things like that. You're out training in all sorts of weathers, and as a youth trainee, I was cleaning the football boots of like Bobby Zamora and Michel Kuipers and stuff like that. You know, I was cleaning the boots of professional footballers. You didn't see any of these guys back in the day sitting around playing a friendly game of Monopoly in the fucking clubhouse.
Okay,
That's
after
another
you've done
thing
some
really
heavy
got me.
training and that, go do what you want. Go get your PlayStation 5 out or whatever, or if you have to go to an Xbox, whatever. But get your PlayStation out and go play on that. But at least do your hardcore training first.
Yeah.
But with that, Ryan, haven't had you on here before. Haven't seen you before. So cheers for coming on.
I've seen you
doing?
on Spurs channel quite a bit and a few of the others. So big up to you, man. How are you,
You too,
though?
fella.
I mean, yesterday,
Well,
I could
same
see it
Spurs,
happening.
different day. What was your view
Yeah.
on yesterday? Come on.
Do you know what, right? I could see it coming straight from the first. The thing that surprised me the most was actually when Tottenham took the lead. That was the most surprising thing of it all, to be honest. I honestly thought that we was going to more likely probably get at least a draw out of it at that point. But then it hit back into reality about 2 minutes later, thinking defence can't do anything, and then it's just literally just the same old Tottenham again, going back to how it was. And I've refused up until recently, because the season's nearly ending now, that I've refused all season, like Corey can vouch for me on this, that I haven't watched any of the games all season.
Yeah.
Same Spurs, different day, wasn't it? That is my
Yeah.
saying on here. And that is what people know me for now. Same Spurs, different day.
Yeah.
And once the day changes and this manager's gone and we've actually got someone competent that actually can do both sides of the job, coaching and managing, because there's a difference between coaching a team and managing a team. You have to have a guy that's good with both.
Look,
you can't have someone turn up, be a manager and not coach the guys.
Question I'll give you, Ryan, yeah? It's like,
Yeah, go on.
is the one I want to go through, yeah? Because I want to go through a couple of the players here. Vicario. I'm starting to actually get seriously worried about him now. He's starting to actually make... I knew he had a problem when Man City sussed us out, sussed the problem with Vicario, that he is not good on his line when he's got the pressure around him with everybody, that he doesn't look after himself like a lot of other keepers would. He let himself last season get pinched left, right, and centre, and the player should have been like helping him out. But still, if that would have been Pickford, they'd have ended up on the floor, because a goalkeeper still does get that leeway. And when it's in a dead ball situation as well, you push the other player over, get out my face and everything. You're not giving away a penalty or nothing because it's in a dead ball situation. When he comes out to where he should be coming out to catch a ball quite simply, and he punches it with both hands directly over, and there's 3 players standing there ready for a long shot, or he just dives into the middle of everyone, and I am actually starting to get worried about Vicario now. I know he's not our main problem, and he is not the first player that I would look to replace, but if a significantly better option comes up, I would do it all day long. For me, no matter how much you like a player or not, don't come into it. Yeah, it's dog eat dog world as far as I'm concerned. What are your feelings about Vicario?
Right. Well, I had the first concern is from the corners all that time ago when he just couldn't come out to catch a ball. That was the first concern. I personally think he's a good shot stopper, but apart from that, there's nothing about him. He can't play out with his feet properly. I personally don't think, anyway.
Not many keepers can.
No,
not Spurs anyway.
Well, I mean, what's his name? Kinski, or whatever his name is. He's just as bad. So
I think it should be going to Josh Keeley at this rate. He's having a blinder of the season out on loan.
But anyway, let him finish off about Vicario, because that is one I do want to pick on.
And obviously, Vicario's to the point where I just don't see if there's going to be a future for him anymore, to be honest. I mean, I'd rather take put you in goal, Dan. That's how bad it is, mate. I'd rather have you in goal. I used to actually
play in goal for a while.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I had my trials at Kent and everything, passed every test, flying colours, and because of the year and the style of football and that, I just weren't tall enough.
Height restrictions back in the day.
And
then I went right back.
Short, both on short.
And then I went into it. Yeah, but that's a modern day keeper. Back then, you had to be a Peter Cech sort of thing. I'm talking like 25 years ago sort of thing. Yeah, but go on, go with what you're saying with Vicario.
Yeah, I just don't think that Vicario's anywhere near good, Dan. I think we need to get a new keeper in. But yeah, like you said, he's not the biggest problem. But I just don't think the defense is helping him out much either. That's enough. I think if we was to stop sitting on the halfway line and having no defense, in other words, I think we'd have a better chance at keeping more clean sheets.
Well, if we had better tactics, and this is the main thing that quite a few of us have been calling, whereas others have been saying it's down to significant players making significant mistakes. Yes, you can say that as well.
Injuries.
But they are making the significant mistakes because they are being played out of sync and they are being told to play such a crazy fucking way of football. Now, the bit that pisses me off the most, and this one really does actually get my back up, is that we take more chance with a pass in front of our own fucking goal than we do up the other end of the pitch. We'll take a 30-70 chance that pass could go right in front of our own goal, yet up the other end of the pitch, we don't seem to make a pass unless there's like a 65-70% chance it goes right. Yet at our end of the pitch, in front of our goal, our keeper, we will take a pass. We're telling to pass it out when there's only a 30% chance that it works. What do you two think on that?
I'm of an old school goalkeeper, mate. I was taught to hoof the fucker ball up the pitch, and that was it. You know what I mean? I'm so fed up with Vicario's footwork. Don't get me wrong. I've said so many times, even to you, Dan, like offline on that. Vicario's great at saving a shot. He does weldies every now and then, but with his feet, he looks very lackluster. He's very slow thinking of the modern goalkeeper. You know, modern goalkeepers have to be quick with their feet to get the ball out. Whereas most of the European goalkeepers are taught differently to us. They're, get the ball up the pitch, especially in the Italian league. You don't see many keepers play with their feet. They'll get the ball up 20, 30 yards, and then the teams will sit back and defend. And it's just the way modern football is now. The goalkeepers have got to be some sort of like sweeper keeper and sort of sitting defence guy that can use his hands every now and again. It just bores me. I miss the old days of goalkeeping.
It's just not like that anymore. But even to be a sweeper keeper, you haven't got to be great with your feet as such. You've just got to be able to pass a bloody ball. And I even expect a goalkeeper to be able to pass a fucking ball. James, how you doing, mate?
I'm well, mate. How are you?
Same Spurs, different day.
How are you personally then? Forget Spurs.
I'm all right. I'm just looking forward to that. I've got to go pick up the dog shit after this one in the back garden because it's my turn to do it. And I'll do it with more smile on my face than watching bloody Spurs again.
Absolutely.
So with what we've just been saying here, Vicario, what is your opinion on him at the moment? How do you feel with him? I know you can only be as good as your defence, whatever else. I'll give him all of that. But there is certain things now going on with Vicario that I am really starting to feel unsafe with.
I think Vicario is going to get flack for his passing ability, and so he should, to be honest. But I also believe that it all comes down to a system. If you've got a player playing, but for me, shot stopping wise, the guy's excellent and right up there with some of the best in the world when it comes to shot stopping. But when you've got somebody that can't play out with the ball how they want him to, and you're continuously asking him to do the same thing, kind of for me, the criticism gets taken away from him, and you just have to start aiming in at Ange. To be honest, some of the mistakes, some of the mistakes that he has been making and stuff. You've also got to look at like the guys that had his defence chopped and changed every day, continuously through the season, without building any sort of confidence. So he now don't believe in his defence again, and I think it's just a vicious cycle.
Right, I just want to call out Super Chat quick. Jason H, Super Sticker, thanks a lot, mate. Much appreciated. I mean, you can leave a comment on them. If you want to leave a comment on there later, I'll get through to it. Like I say, I'm about half hours behind on the things. But go on, James, carry on what you're saying, mate. Sorry. Thanks
No, you're fine. I just think that you have to start looking at the philosophy, the style, the tactics.
Yes.
Because you can't keep blaming individual errors when they're making the same error. It's almost like against Liverpool yesterday. I saw Vicario try to make a 25, 30 yard, 40 yard pass along the ground, sort of like bypass their attack in midfield. That's not what he's good at. You shouldn't be asking him to do that either. So yeah, Vicario deserves criticism for his passing ability, but I don't think anything will change until you change the system and tactics.
The other thing I'm worried about with Vicario, though, is even with a solid defence, I think he is very, very erratic of when he comes out, of when he should actually catch a bloody ball, and he tries to either punches it with two hands or either just totally misses it and goes for about 4 or 5 players, ends up flat on his fucking face, and then the ball usually ends up in the back of the net. That is one thing I am getting very sceptical of him. Go on.
But what about like our defenders? We haven't got a defender that can header the ball. So if he doesn't come out, they're getting a free header on goal. Like for example, from a corner, they whip a corner in, and if you're Vicario, you're thinking, well, none of my centre backs are going to win this header. What do I do?
Oh,
like, it can't be easy for him.
No, I totally get where you're coming from with this one, yeah. But he does make some very erratic decisions on when he comes out to head that bloody head the ball, of when he comes out to try and punch that ball. I have seen him come out off his line when he hasn't actually needed to, and jump through several players a few times and just totally miss it. I'm starting to get wary of him.
One other massive concern I've got of him: he's got no command of his box. Most goalkeepers you look in the league, they're shouting at their defence, taking control of it, of dead ball situations and everything. He's just letting the players get on with it instead of telling them where to be.
I disagree with that. He's always screaming at the defenders. That's why he was captain yesterday. He's always screaming at them.
That's just my opinion on him. Like every now and then he'll do it.
I think the point that you might be missing there, James, is that I agree with Corey 100%. He has no command whatsoever of his box. He is the loudest player on that pitch until the ball comes into the box. Everywhere up the pitch, he's screaming, he's shouting, he's this, he's that. That is why I've even said he looks like the only one that's even got captain material on him, because he opens his mouth. But then the minute it gets into the box, he shuts up. Watch him. When it comes into the box, he shuts up. He might point at someone, but he goes quiet. Yet when the game is going on the other end of the pitch, you can literally hear him up the other end of the pitch or see him when it focuses on him, screaming and shouting. But every time it comes into the box, he shuts up shop, and it's almost like he goes into a bit of a, I don't know whether it's a concentration overload or a panic overload or whatever you want to bloody call it. But when the ball actually comes into the box, I think this goalkeeper, Vicario, has absolutely no command of his box whatsoever. And I think that's what you're getting at, Corey, basically.
Yeah,
I mean, James,
when things are coming in, crosses, dead ball situations, I've noticed it. Even when I went to go and watch that Southampton match, I know we won, but at the end of the day, I didn't hear my goalkeeper telling his defence where the fuck to be honest with you. Even at my man versus fat thing, mate, you don't hear me shut up. Get over there, get this, do that. I'm commanding the guys from the back. That's what the goalkeeper should be doing. Even when that ball's coming in, you get to him, you chase him down, you break his legs, you do something, man. You bust a nut. And then when it's coming in, mine, keepers! As you always do as a keeper to try and put people off to catch that shit.
That's what you always used to do, wasn't it? You used to come out and off your line when you had to, scream as loud as you can to basically tell everyone you're coming for it and put off the person who's just about to head the ball because you're screaming in his ear hole.
I don't hear it. Same as Vicario.
Now, Dan, do you know who I blame for that, though? I blame Ange for telling him to shut up when it's so that everyone can concentrate. That's my point of view.
No. I ain't going with that one, mate. Not a chance in hell. Not a chance in hell. I don't care what the tactics are and everything and that. One thing I very much doubt Ange does to do is tell the players to shut up and be quiet when they're in the box. That one, I would just have to read it and see it to believe it. I do not rate this manager. I do not think he's got tactics. I do think he's got other problems, which I've stated, but I'm not going to go through it. I do not believe that Ange actually tells the players, right, when you're in the box, shut up and focus. I don't believe that. I just think that when it comes into it, I don't know, Vicario either just switches, he concentrates too much or whatever. He has got no command of that box whatsoever when the ball goes in there. I cannot dig or believe that even my daughter, who don't like football, would be able to say that you don't shut up when you're in the box and just concentrate on what you're doing. Yeah, you got to concentrate, but you don't be quiet. I'm sorry, mate. I can't go with that one.
No,
that one is down to Vicario. I think it's just his personality. It's who he is. So, with a couple of the other players yesterday, yeah. No, so I don't really want to go through the whole fucking team. But for me, Udogie yesterday. What the hell was that? That is the worst performance. I know we can say we was playing Liverpool. Our team was like, we had a crap team on there. Basically, what the hell was Udogie doing yesterday? That is the worst performance I have seen off of him. People will say, yes, we were playing Liverpool. We had Archie Gray, Bergville in midfield. I get all that, yeah. But when you're meant to be a good player, not even a world-class player, you should still stand out a little. I mean, yesterday, to me, what the hell was that all about? James, seriously, what did you think of Udogie yesterday? Okay, if you're not there, Corey.
Yeah.
Went
No,
wayward.
I'm.
Oh,
For
I know,
me,
James.
I
Udogie
would.
yesterday, mate.
I've been saying it for a long time. I think Udogie, Porro, and Vicario all suit an Italian side. The defensive, more defensive mind, they're letting your wingers bomb on. For me, they're made for a 3-5-2. Absolutely made for it. So
yeah,
it doesn't make sense that they're not playing that.
5-2-2-1 or 3-4-1-2, 3-4-2-1,
Absolutely.
whatever you want to call it. Wing backs.
Yep.
Even as a wing back, he looked fucking awful yesterday. When he got forward, he was dreadful yesterday. I mean, absolutely piss poor. I mean, the only player that was worse on the pitch, I ain't going to bring it up again because I don't even think it was his bloody fault the way he got dropped into it. Udogie, for me, was the worst player on the pitch.
He's so bad technically for me. Technically, he's awful.
Yeah, but when he was at Udinese, he wasn't. He's not a defensive sort of player, but even getting forward yesterday, he was shocking.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's down to the coaching as well for like poor old Vicario for him. It's
Udogie.
Just coming down from the coaching. I know Udogie. Like from the coaching staff, you got your defensive coaching staff, you got your attacking. I mean, it's supposed to be separated into different things. You got your goalkeeping coaches, you got your defense. Just seems to be everybody's trying to overload the players of information and not telling them to do the basics. The basics of football is make a triangle, three or four passes up the field, cross it in, have a shot. We're not even doing that. The kid is trying, but he's trying in the position wrong. Yesterday we played with Spence and Udogie, and I'm sitting there like, why not Spence and Porro? You know.
Either way, I think he made the right move by playing Spence and Udogie, or if he'd have put Spence there or Porro on. Because for me, Spencer's got to play due to his defensive abilities, where it's significantly better than Porro and Udogie. So for me, Spence's first choice, and then you either play him with Porro or with Udogie. But I just don't know what happened to it. That was absolutely shocking yesterday. I mean, it was him that scored the own goal as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Now, do you know what the problem is, Dan? Right, and I said this last week on another show. That I turned around and I said that I personally think that the players have just given up on the league because we're not going down now. But then they play for themselves when it comes to the Europa League. Personally, that's what I think.
It does look that way. It does look that way.
I said that 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, but then that just about shows everything about a bunch of players we got, doesn't it? But it also just shows how much I personally think he lost more than the dressing. I think he lost more than half the dressing room after about 10 games.
Go back after when Maddison and Sonny were substituted off, and the shot of them on the camera is them two talking on the bench about this shit doesn't work. Why are we playing like this? Coming from two senior pros that can see it. The players can see it. Most of the fans can see it. This system, these tactics, this coaching, these players are played wrong, coached wrong, and we're getting on their back when it's Ange's fucking fault. These players, all right, they can be held accountable for some of the fucking piss.
For some of the stuff that has happened, the players need to be accountable for this as well. Yeah. For some
most
of it,
most of the accountability was on the manager and his coaching staff.
Yes,
has to be. And then,
I mean,
like I said, our head of our medical department walked out because he had an argument with Ange, saying, "Look, at the end of the day, Ange, you can't be playing these guys because they're not fit." Ange went behind the guy's back, played the guys, and the guy went, "Well, I said, fucking, I'm terminating my contract. I'm gone." You know, the medical guy walked out. We've not got a medical team. Really,
I disagree with that.
Go on, James.
Because this isn't a first thing for Ange. Our medical team have been crap for 10 years, so you can't put all of that on Ange. They've been telling players to come back not fit continuously for God knows how long. Look, don't get me wrong. I'm here to bash Ange as much as the next guy, but I feel like everybody is trying to put every single thing of it on him, like the medical staff. And I mean, we said earlier about shouting. Sometimes the people have to take their own responsibility. The club's rotten to the core. It's not Ange that everything else will be fixed after Ange leaves.
It's basically the whole thing
fair
we got to
point.
sort out, isn't it? It's the whole thing we got to sort out. I mean, we all know that. I ain't even going to that Levy shit yet, but we all know it is from the top to the bottom, basically, that this club is absolutely fucked up beyond all recognition.
But
Well,
Dan,
when you're bringing in directors of football from Arsenal as well, our bitter rivals, all right, he might be good at the job, he might not be, but you're bringing them in from the bitter rivals to do what job? To sit there on the board and take a paycheck, because his voice isn't going to carry any weight, because Levy's going to control everyone like the puppet master he is, and he's controlling us fans the way he is as well, because he's got his shield in front of him. Ange is his shield, so he can't fall back on that and sack him, because what's the point now? You got potentially 4 games left in the 4 games left in the league, potentially 3 games left in Europe. So you got another 7 games of this guy using him as a shield to deflect away from all this shit that Levy's done. Then once he sacks him, we're going to be on Levy's back. But then again, we want Levy to sort it out, because what's the point of protesting now? You know, I've been at both of the protests. These things have to happen. Either Levy wakes up, sells up and leaves, or we actually start doing things properly as a football club, proper scouting, proper networking, bringing in better medical staff, bringing in better quality of players that aren't just here on the back of their father's name.
You know what you say with that, yeah? Bringing in better players and everything. Obviously, I agree. But at times we have actually looked at some good players and nearly got them. And it is the one thing it does come down to, mainly, is the wages. It's not that we don't even look at the good players all the time. All the time. Majority of the time, no, we just go for the basics. But it's very much... Right, gonna have another one on. Ryan, cheers, mate, for coming on. I just don't want to have massive 5, 6, 7, or 8 people on here.
Yeah.
Much appreciated, mate.
Yeah.
And I'll catch up with you again soon. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, sure, Dan. Thanks, mate.
Laters.
With that, like what we were just saying there about the scouting and stuff, obviously we know that he was offered Eze and stuff like that, but Ange actually said no. So that's where I will bash Ange a little bit, because if you're being offered people like Eze and you're saying no, I want Tell, then that's just an idiot mindset, to be honest. That's somebody that doesn't know football.
Lack of player identification, that is, not realising what they can bring.
The thing with Tell on that one is I don't necessarily blame Tell on Ange. And that one was more, I think, on the football club just said, there you go, there's a player from Bayern Munich, do what you can with him. I don't particularly think Ange went out there and said, get me Tell. I don't believe that one, yeah. The time it happened and that, I honestly do believe it was just, they said, look, we can get this little one from Bayern Munich. It's about all we can do for you. There you go. Just do what you can with it. I don't think Ange actually picks that one. I do try to be fair. Mike, how we doing, mate? Same Spurs, different day?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know you are going to do Ryan dirty and kick him off for me. So sorry, Ryan, man.
No. I said I'm just not going to have a massive. I can't be bothered with 6, 7, 8, 9 people this morning. I just haven't got the mentality for it. That's all.
Yeah. Technically speaking, I'm currently working, so you know.
So look, with something I've said earlier, yeah. Vicario, are you getting worried about him? I'm just trying to get as many opinions on this as I can.
Yes and no. I get the criticisms that many of you say about him, right? And I understand, and I back those criticisms, right? I think that there are areas of his game that he should be working on and that he should be fixing, because I personally believe that from what I saw of him, I think he's quite like a quality goalkeeper. Not the best out there, right? I'll always say this because people think when I say quality goalkeeper, I mean like top 3 in the league or something.
He's a very good shot stopper.
Yeah,
he's a quality shot
He's
stopper.
a very good shot stopper in my opinion, right? But
Similar to Hugo, isn't he?
Yeah.
Similar to how Hugo was, because I didn't think Hugo was world class.
Yeah, but
No,
I think
it was a level below.
Yeah, but I think like his major issue, in my opinion, is the fact that he doesn't seem like a calm person. I think goalkeepers need to be calm, and I just feel like when not in a sense, Corey, not in a sense calm that they should be like shut in themselves and
No,
just
Mike.
not talk. Calm as in
Cool,
the game
calm,
really
calculated.
Cool, calculated, and I think the game really gets to him. If the game
with
turns
you.
into a shit show, if like yesterday, if a game turns into a shit show, he starts doing like unexpected shit, right? Starts kicking
Erratic.
the ball to, he's erratic basically, right? When the adrenaline kicks in, he cannot like contain it a bit, right? He cannot just keep focused on the game. I feel like he's making more and more mistakes the wilder the game gets, right? I think this is one major issue that I have with him. But the second thing that I'm actually worried about is the fact that I feel like a lot of our fan base has started turning on him. Like I get the criticisms, but I think people are overdoing it. I'm not saying any of you guys, right? But there's some opinions that I've seen of him, right? And I defended him, right? When Kinski had 1 or 2 good games and people were saying sell Vicario and put Kinski in the goal and Vicario is useless and we should, just stick with Kinski.
No, he's not useless.
Yeah, but people were saying that, like,
yes, they
in
are.
the comments plenty times, right? And I'm just trying to be a bit balanced. I get the fact that he's not the best, but he's also not trash, in my opinion. And I
100% with you.
I take it from the point of like this team needs fixing, but goalkeeper is not the priority fix, in my opinion. If you get what I mean, right?
Can I add to that?
Well, the
Yeah.
problem about
Add to that as well.
But he goes at the bottom of the list of what we
bottom
need
of
to
the list,
repair.
right?
I do feel he's getting significant stick, but I am bringing him up for reasons because
definitely.
If you're
The game
he's gotta get
yesterday,
brought up.
the game yesterday, he should be getting rinsed over it, right? I think he was trash yesterday, and he was trash against Leeds.
Yeah.
And I again, this is.
I
what
don't
want
think
to
he's
stress,
as bad
right?
as people are making out.
Yeah,
though.
but
I'm
I
not
don't-
sitting here
exactly.
saying he's terrible.
Exactly.
Keeper. I'm agreeing with you. I do think he's getting excess stick. Some of it of which he deserves. If you're playing shit, you don't just get sunshine blown up your ass when it's good. As far as I'm concerned, when you're crap, you need to be told about it as well. But I don't deny it. I am getting worried. But go on, James. You were saying I interrupted you. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. The thing that I'd like to sort of like add to that is every single player in this squad is getting stick now. So for me, Vicario, Maddison, Van der Ven, Romero, maybe Porro, they're our best players. And even they now are getting butchered to pieces. That can't all be every player in the squad is crap. It just can't be that. I won't believe that.
No, I agree.
So from my point of view, from my point of view, anyway, I'm not disagreeing with anybody because he's been playing crap, but it comes to a point when if every single player is like this, then either we have the worst squad in the league and we should be going down, or there's something fundamentally wrong with the tactics and style. So for me, I think you bring in a better. I mean, if this team now was done by Conte, no one would be asking any questions. No one, because it would just be a smooth working operation. At the moment, we have no players in this squad that I can say, yeah, you know what, he deserves to start. He's been doing okay.
Yeah.
Like none.
What gets me
with
with
that,
this
James,
whole
yeah? One thing, Corey, with that, James, yeah? I called this out a long time ago, before I can state before anybody, that this team is made for a Vicario Conte sort of style, yeah? It is made for an Italian style counter-attacking football, yeah?
Yeah.
But the things that have started to turn me a little bit, yeah? I mean, I'm still 100% Conte's going to do a better job, still do a better job, this and that, get a counter-attacking manager in there. It will suit the style of the players 10 times better, everything else. You will see better performance, yeah? Because I'm still the firm believer of the same thing I repeat again, go and get an average team out there, play everyone in the right position, play everyone to what they're best at, get the formation right. You can make a bang average team look good. And you can also go and make a world-class team, play them all out of sync, play them the wrong formation, you can make them look bang average. Now, I think the problem we got here, yeah, I think there's another problem here now as well, where even Conte would struggle a bit here, yeah? And when I mean struggle, by his standards, yeah? I mean, if we're going to be totally honest, Ange isn't even struggling by his standards. Yeah, he's actually doing good. We should be fucking relegated. Yeah, the way we have played this year is relegation, pure through and through. But I think where any even quality manager would be having problems here, I'll even go and say Pep. I'll even go and say Klopp. I'll even go and say get Mourinho back on there, get Alex Ferguson on that fucking pitch or Wenger or whatever. I think they would still have a problem. And that is the fact that we have got no leaders on that pitch whatsoever. There's this old saying that some people like it, some people don't. Well, some people say too many Chiefs, not enough Indians, yeah? And that's usually when you get a team like Real Madrid had it at one point. They had too many Chiefs, not enough Indians. They had too many bosses on that pitch, too many big people, yeah? I'll reverse that round for Spurs. We got too many Indians and no fucking Chiefs. We have got no boss on that pitch whatsoever. We have got nobody who is worth captain material. Now, me and you and a couple of others, James, called it out from day one. Son is not captain material. Yeah?
Exactly.
Maddison, a little bitch that he is, even though I think he's one of our best players, very skillful player in that, I think he is a whiny little bitch on that pitch sometimes, and he gets on my nerves. Where if I was the captain, I would slap him and say, pull your finger out your ass a couple of times. Even though he is one of our better players, doesn't get played the right way, gets boxed up at number 10, I'll go with all that. But I still think he is a whiny little bitch. And I think another problem is, I think there's actually quite a few players in that team who are actually just whiny little bitches. And I think Romero has become one of them. Romero was more the sort of person, personality-wise, that I would sort of pick as a captain. I want a bit of a brute as a captain. I want a bit of a... the one I always go back to is Kane because he's my favourite. I want someone who will get stuck in, who will tell the players how they are, who will do what it has got to do as a captain. Yeah, I know times have changed, but there is no captains on that pitch whatsoever. I mean, forget the manager. I mean, he might as well be a ghost on there. Yeah,
I don't think he's helping
captains.
But I think the manager has taken the ability to have a captain away. He has made so many excuses, not mistakes. He's made so many excuses for these players that they have no consequences. Oh, the injuries. When we come back, you'll see this. Oh, now we're playing 2 games a week. Oh, what about X, Y, Z? The VAR. We've had pitch. We've had excuse after excuse after excuse. So now every player on that pitch has an alibi. They don't have to face anything because they've already got excuses made up. Like we played awful, and he goes, "Yeah, we played really well today. I thought it was outstanding." Well, you've just made an excuse. You've set your standards. Your players are only going to represent what you're demanding. And if outstanding is losing to Nottingham Forest, then that's what you're going to get.
There's a lot of stuff here that is, fundamentally wrong. You're saying about an upgrade or another goalkeeper coming in when we got 7 on the books. We need to ostracize.
No, that's the lowest of the problems. That's for me.
Yeah, I know. I'm just going to go through it. Like with the goalkeeper side of it, we got 7 keepers on the books. 3 of them are only there to meet quotas of the Europa League homegrown players at club, right? We've got Keeley that is having a blinding season and is a lot better than Vicario. Then we move on to...
Sorry, Corey.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Based on what? He's better than him based on what?
League One.
He's doing good in League One.
League One or not, there's still the standard there for a goalkeeper to stand up and be above and beyond. And Keeley's doing it.
Sorry, but
we went out and brought another goalkeeper.
No, Vicario was a stand-up keeper in Serie A. Sorry, that's just baseless. This is what I'm fighting against.
Look at the kid's stats this season. How many clean
sheets? Okay, let Mike finish. Let Mike get his point across. Before the
injury, Vicario had 100% pass accuracy, and we are all trying to rinse his passing accuracy and passing statistics, right? He still has the best shots, goals prevented in the league, despite missing 12 games, right? Like, if you want to do stats, then we can do stats, right? But again, I'm not saying that Keeley is bad, by the way, right? But this is what I'm trying to fight against when we talk about Vicario, right? Because people already treat him like he's garbage that should be tossed away.
He's not garbage. For an understudy to Vicario, we should have Keeley there, not Kinksky. We've got 3 other English born goalkeepers, only kept here on the books in case we need to meet the quota for the league, and if we're lucky, get into Champions League.
We shouldn't have bought a bloody goalkeeper. We didn't.
Yeah,
need
we
one.
shouldn't have.
Exactly, we didn't need one.
Right.
Austin came in, had man of the match against Newcastle, lost, but man of the match, and then a day later we've got Kingsley on the same day.
I agree we shouldn't have bought Kinski, right? But I don't agree with playing Keely, who has 1 year experience playing in League One instead of Vicario. Like, this is something I can't agree with.
Players have to go out on loan to learn their trait. They can't be stuck in a youth system the whole time. It's like with
Obviously.
Gray needs a full season at a stronger club with a better.
But there's the point, Corey. There's the point. I think you just contradicted yourself. Why? Because you just said that Gray shouldn't be playing here. Really, he should be out on loan because he's only got Championship credit to him.
Yeah.
And that is basically what you were saying, that we should bring a keeper up from a lower league to basically take Vicario's place. Now, anyone, I'm not saying Vicario for me has got to go. Yeah, I was just talking about basically how there is some weak spots on him that I'm definitely starting to get a bit skeptical about because they're not improving. But then it comes back to the whole thing again, where you can divert it from the player because then you can just look at the fucking tactics again. And then it comes to the point of we have not got, which I totally agree, one defender in there who can really head that ball properly. And Van der Ven, I knew that was his weakness when he was coming over here. I mean, when I checked up on him and a few.
So guys, so
and
tall,
I think out of a lot of other channels, I mean, Sava was the first one who called this, yeah, and I'll back him up all the way on this one. For what we'd seen for Van der Ven for the past season and a half sort of thing, when he's actually been able to play, which you can say is either is he injury prone or is it Ange's tactics? I'll go with Ange's tactics, but I think the tactics have now fucked his
Achilles. Not Achilles, hamstring.
His hamstring up so much. I think he's now got a career problem personally.
Yeah.
The main thing we'd seen of him as a defender was being able to charge back from the halfway line and put in a good tackle, by the way, and save our ass countless times. I mean, if it wasn't for him being able to do that, the amount of other games we would have lost last season and this season when he's been able to play, the list would have gone up. But when it comes back as a hardcore back-to-back defender, like you got to play sometimes when you are playing a game like against someone like Liverpool or whatever, and you have got to sit on that byline basically and defend, come love nor money. Is Van der Ven even capable of doing that on a regular status? Because I haven't seen him do it.
No, I don't think he is.
For me,
it's a question. It's nothing more than a question.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you can't.
For me, obviously,
but I don't know. And it's Sava who brought this up first.
I've said this loads of times. Obviously, just before we move on with the whole Kinski thing, with him, or Keely, sorry, does that mean like Mana Solomon is better than like Eze because of the numbers that he's put in this season and compared to someone like Eze? You can't go on things like this. It's a complete different league. The standards are a lot lower. It's not fair to judge the two players on the same thing. And going by Van der Ven, I said the same thing the whole time. The guy, I think it was Terry Henry that said the best defender he's ever played against was Ledley King. The reason for that being, I don't think he made a slide tackle in about 3 seasons. If you're making a slide tackle, it means you're out of position, you're overstretching to make a recovery block or a defensive effort. You'll never see Ledley King doing that, barring 1 or 2. He was so ahead of the game that he could read everything, so he didn't need to do that. Whereas Van der Ven, you don't read the game like a proper defender for me, a Ledley King. And how many times do you see Saliba running back? He's rapid. How many times do you see Saliba running back last ditch trying to make that? And don't get me wrong, I know a lot of that is to do with Ange. But if you can read
what about Maldini? The guy never really had the slide. The guy was always.
It was the same. Toby Alderweireld said the same. It was for me. I don't think he's very good defensively. I feel like he's been spun a fair few times. I don't know if it was it Brentford last season where they no, I think it was Newcastle last season.
Isak did him twice in one game.
Twice. And that he didn't even need to do that. He could have just stood him up and played him outside. But for me, defensively, I don't think he's very good. But in this Ange system, I think he's the best probably person for the role because of his pace.
Exactly what I've been saying, yeah. Now, again, I do think he's a good defender. But
Same.
when I say good, let's not just go into like I'm saying he's quality.
Yeah.
Now you go and give me Ledley King all day long, yeah? I would pick Van der Ven over Ledley King all day long with these tactics. Let me finish. With these tactics, yeah?
Okay.
Because with these tactics, Ledley King would be absolutely foobarred, yeah? Same as pretty much
Really
any
big as well.
normal defender out there. Go and give me Lillian Thuram. Go and give me Nesta, yeah? Two of my favourite defenders ever. Go play them in this formation. They're fucked. Simple as that, yeah? Ledley King ain't running
Even
back from the
Maldini.
halfway line. Sol Campbell ain't running back from the halfway line. Saliba, they ain't getting back from the halfway line. This is what I'm saying, yeah? So don't think that I'm rating Van der Ven over Ledley King in a million years. Never. But if I had to play this system, like you just said, Van der Ven is the best one to play for it because he's got the pace to come back for it. And that is why in this system, he stands out actually as, I think, possibly better than what he is because of the amount that he can run back and cover our ass. Because we know this whole system at one point was reliant more than anything on one player and one player only. And that was Van der Ven being able to get back and cover our ass. Give me some of the best defenders you can ever think of, yeah? Give me the best defense you will ever think of, yeah? They will still get absolutely annihilated with these fucking tactics, yeah? One of the best defenses I've ever seen, again, repeat it, is that AC Milan lot. With the goalkeeper, Cafu, when they had Maldini, when they had Nesta, when they... who was it who played in the middle with him?
It's going to irk me now because I know you're thinking of...
It's literally on the end of my tongue and I can't say his name, but it's one of the best defenses I've ever bloody seen. They would still concede 40, 45, 50 goals. It's the tactics. And Van der Ven is about the only one who almost fits the tactics as such, but even he's pushed way too far up the pitch.
Yeah.
And when he's not playing, you know we are up serious shit street because we still press the ball up to the fucking halfway line. Danzo ain't getting back. Romero ain't too quick either. And Ben Davies.
The thing is, though, what I would say with that is he suits the two at the back system, but I would almost combat that and say, does he really suit the system? He can't win any balls in the air, and we're continuously giving away corners and free kicks. He can't stand a man up, and when you're one-on-one with a defender, the one thing you do need to do is to be able to stand your man up and then see him outside. So I would say he does suit one situation out of this system, but there's a lot of positions that he gets in this system, and he flops them as well.
You know, like James, do you know what? I'll back off on that. Fair play, mate. No, I'll go with you. You're 100% right in my opinion there. Yeah, you're right.
I think
the main thing he suits is basically that main thing that we need in that defender is to come back with a pace. But apart from that, it's quite no. Do you know what? I'll step back on that, mate. You're right. Go on,
for me, he suits this system.
Sorry,
if you play a back three and he plays left of the back three, then for me, he is the perfect guy because he uses his pace to get back and cover when need be. And also, if he's one-on-one and he gets beat, you've still got your monster in midfield that can read the game and like see it out, kind of thing. So for me, he could be the perfect guy for this system, but I don't because I think it's the wrong system. I don't even know if that makes sense.
No, I get what you mean. One thing of him basically works for this system, yeah. The rest of it don't.
Yeah, but
put him as put him with three at the back. How I would do it, I'd have Romero as my ball-playing defender on the right. Van der Ven as my ball-playing defender on the left, and all day long I'll stick Dragusin straight in the middle of that. No nonsense centre back. Do what you got to fucking do. If you have to, come forward to a DM role now and again just a little bit push forward while the other two come back or whatever. Or you stay back and almost cover as a sweeper when the others have to push forward. And that is what Dragusin is. He is a no-nonsense centre back. He is an old-school John Terry. Nowhere nearly as good, but type of player. And that is how I would want it played. And James... honestly, mate, I think we hit the nail on the head. Mike, go on, mate. You wanted to say something?
I also think you guys nailed it when saying that this system is so fucked up, right? And I keep repeating this for a bit of time now, that the system is so fucked up that I struggle to judge these players. Like, I don't know. I actually don't know how good they are. I actually don't know what they can present because... As we said plenty of times, this system exposes so many weaknesses in those players that I'm not sure whether these are actually like their weaknesses as a player or weaknesses of the system, right? And I will say, like with Porro, Porro is for me the best example, right? Because I actually think he's a quality player. I think we have a quality player in our squad, right? I think his ball delivery is great. I think his striking is great. He runs with the ball. Like, if you give him a bit of time, he's not a trash defender, like not like, you know, from the depths of hell, trash defender. But I think the way we play him as this like inverted bomb forward wing back, playing in a back four system where there is no place for such wing backs, right? Or not both of them, and we expose the fuck out of him, right? I think this is why then we observe Porro in situations like we do, right? Where he has to sprint 60 meters back to get into the defensive shape, right?
From
and
a diagonal angle at that,
yeah, from a
the other one's
diagonal
running
angle,
straight.
yeah, from a diagonal angle, right? Then he gets there and he has like half a second to make a split second decision to decide how he wants to defend, right? He isn't settled in the defense. It's not like he's usually facing the attacker he's supposed to defend against, right? And I think that, yes, in this system he doesn't fit, right? But in most normal systems, I think normal managers would find a way to utilize his good sides while mitigating the bad sides, right? Whereas I think Ange is trying to use the good sides of Porro and doesn't give a fuck about exposing the bad sides, right? And
he's trying to reinvent the wheel when the wheel's
he's
already
trying
perfect.
to reinvent it, right? And you can make the same case with Maddison. I think we should be playing him as a shadow striker, not this fucking deep-lying playmaker 8, going and picking ball from the defense. He's never done that and never will, right? He lacks physicality, and he's actually not a great long-range passer. He's much better at short-range passing and dribbling, right? So put him
Very
as
good
a
direct
shot,
ball, isn't he? Very
right?
good direct.
Yeah. You have a Son who is a left inverted winger, right? I know he's past it. I'm not like arguing whether he's good enough, right? But great things that we've seen from Son was cutting inside and shooting, right? Or getting as close to the goal, sprinting and shooting, right? And we try to put him as far wide as we can and order him to dribble against like right backs, right? He's never done that, like, or hasn't done that for 5 years already, right? Why are we trying to force him into that role? So the reason why I'm giving these examples, right, is to say that I'm not sure how to judge these players, right? Because yes, Porro has been performing shit this season, right? Everyone has. Like, but as James said, right, if everyone is shit and everyone is not good enough, then I guess we are where we should be, right? If these players are this trash, right? But I think all of us can say that this team is better than 16th because we actually see quality in those players, right? But the system is so bad that it just exposes them and makes us lose games. The system, not the players necessarily. There are some games where players are at fault, but not every.
Right, I've got to say something on that last comment, right? Goalkeeping is one of the single hardest positions to fucking nail down as a player. You can have hundreds of thousands of kids wanting to be the next Ronaldo, the next Messi, the next Shearer, the next Scholes. How many people can sit here and go, I want to be the next Buffon, the next Schmeichel? That was me as a kid. Being a goalkeeper is one of the most single hardest positions. Like, I'm 40, I'm fat, and I've got a fuck knee from when I played for Brighton, right? As a kid. I will tell you now, the shit I had to go through training with the first team with Michel Kuipers, I thought coming up through the youth ranks, that was easy. When I got picked to go and train with the first team for a few months before my injury, mate, I never knew nothing of it. Comparing League One to this league, that, how is a young goalkeeper sitting in a youth team going to learn his trait if he's not put in a higher level? Regardless whether it's League One, League 7, League 12, fucking Czech League. We brought a kid from the Czech League, which is rated lower than the fucking championship in the first division. The kid has gone out, he's learning his trait, he's playing well, coached well, and people are saying I'm contradicting stuff like that. The kid is doing well.
Yeah, but then that's like saying Archie Gray was doing well at Leeds, and then he comes up to the Premier League, and he's done okay where he's had to go, and I think he deserves credit for what he's done in centre-back. Even though if that would have been a normal centre-back, they'd have probably got stick for it. But because he's Archie Gray, he got a bit of leeway for it because he should not have even bloody been there, the poor fella. Yeah,
playing in the
and that's like saying, he's done brilliant in the Championship, so you bring him up to the Premier League, and then you don't go and buy someone who should walk into that first 11. This
Well,
is
you
where
know
I just
what?
think you're getting it a bit contradicting. Yeah, you're right on what
Yeah.
you're saying, but
with the,
you have
with the
to start
Keane thing,
somewhere.
you have to send him out on loan somewhere, and he's been sent
On
out
loan,
on loan
yes.
to a good team.
I don't think
He's going
anyone's
to be loaned
arguing
out
that
potentially
point on
again
that.
next season to a championship team to see his ilk, but he's still
Yeah, but-
better than the other 6 goalkeepers we got on the books apart from Vicario.
Based on
Simple.
what though? This is what I'm saying. This is what this is where I
They
disagree
haven't
because
right. 15,
because
16
I don't-
years
I
of
don't
Whiteman.
get-
We
Hang on,
haven't seen
James. Go on.
Whiteman
Let
play.
James. You said let James say his bit.
the reason I disagree is because you're taking into consideration him making his saves and him doing his responsibilities, and he's doing nothing wrong. I'll admit with nothing wrong. But let me tell you, there's a complete difference. Dane Scarlett looked good in League One. You ain't playing against Dane Scarlett. You're playing against the likes of Haaland, Harry Kane's. You're playing against elite level strikers that don't need 2, 3, 4, 5 chances. They need a fraction of a chance, and they buried it into the bottom corner. So I agree
Because
with
they're
what
in
you're
the
saying
Premier League
about.
for a reason.
I agree with you what you're saying about he's doing everything right. They have to go out alone. Of course they can. But to say he's our second best keeper based on one good season in League One, and they're hardly top of League One, it is. For me, it's a bit contradictory. And what I would say is, obviously, I'm going to shoot. So I just want to add one more thing to what Michael was saying, if
Go
that's
for
all
it,
right.
Go for it.
What he was saying with Porro, you know what? I would be so excited to see Pedro Porro in a right wing back role. When you know, say for example,
Or even a right winger for me.
yeah, well, I think I would rather him as a right wing back because I don't think he's got that final killer instinct as much as what we need if we want to so-called win the league or play Champions League. But what I would say is, from say for example, we're in a defensive position in the left back, and then Udogie switched it to Porro, and now you're Porro / a right winger or a striker, 3-on-2, and Porro's driving with the ball. That for me, I think that would be epic. I think that is his role to a T. Everybody knows he can. Pardon me, he could deliver a ball. He's got great with his feet. He scores screamers every now and then. So for me, I think there are players like that. I mean, Dominic Solanke's getting a hell of a lot of criticism, and so he should. But I can't judge him playing centre midfield as a striker. I need to see him box in the box for a season with players actually delivering the ball for him to me to say, you know what, fair, yeah, you are crap. Or for me, I completely agree with what Michael was saying about let's see these players in a different squad under a different manager and almost have a manager that's going to put all their arms around everybody and say, look, boys, we're all as one. Us, the fans, me, the coaching staff, you, we're all one. Let's go do it together. At the moment, even what Maddison was saying yesterday, he's like, you could see in he's like, I'm not really fussed what anyone says. And then at the end, he kind of went, we do need everybody for Thursday. And I thought, hold on a minute, you've just kind of criticised everybody. And now you're saying, let's all get together for Thursday. So it's, for me personally, there are players that you can judge that have been doing this for longer than 2 years, i.e. the Ben Davies, your Basumas, your Bentancurs. I think those sort of players, you have fair criticism to come into. But I think the likes of like Solanke, Porro, maybe even Udogie, maybe I've been unfair on Udogie, Vicario, even Van der Ven. Maybe let's see him in a proper system, and then we can actually then go, you know what? Fair, I was wrong there. Van der Ven, you can defend. You've just never been able, never had to.
But at the moment, you can only judge on what you see, can't you?
Oh,
At
absolutely,
the moment we are judging, but also to quickly add on what James said, right? And just as you said about the wingback role, right? I seriously, if you have time, right, I advise people to watch Crystal Palace games and watch how Munoz plays, right? Their right wingback. No, Corey, Crystal Palace play 10 times better football than us, right?
Oh, I know we do, but I'm just saying that as a Bostonian, mate. Palace.
Yeah. And just watch what Daniel Munoz does, right? How he's utilized by Glasner, right? This guy has, I think, something like 4 or 5 goals this season and 4 assists, something like that, right? Playing as a right wing back, but basically when you watch them play, he kind of plays like a right winger for them. But he has the defensive duties, right? He is that typical wing back player, right? Whereas their left wing back, which is usually Mitchell, I think his name was Mitchell.
Mitchell, yeah.
Mitchell usually is a bit more defensive one. He doesn't go as far forward, right? Like for me, it just screams Udogie and Porro, right? If you watch Mateta play, right? Watch Mateta play. I think Solanke could do what Mateta does for Palace, right? Like Mateta is a fox in the box. Just tap this fucking goal in, right? Or take shots. Just be there when the cross comes in, right? Or when the assist comes in. He's there and he scored like 17 goals this season, right? Eze, look what Eze does, right? Madison could do that for us. Eze does not drop back and
That was what I was going to say.
defense, right? It's like,
Yep.
By the way, that's why I wanted Glasner after Conte, right? I can even find the fucking clip when I went on We Are Tottenham TV like 3 years ago or 2 years ago, whenever we sacked Conte, right? Then I said, my next like choice would be Glasner, right? Because I think that we didn't have all these players that we have right now, but it's just, for me, it looks like we are building the team for Glasner. There is just no Glasner in the fucking dugout, right? It's like, I honestly think back three, this system, these players suit back three to the T. If you just have brain and use them as you should be, right? But this manager powers plays whatever the
Same with Madison as well. You could almost say on the right, you've got the other perfect fit in Kulu. You've got the perfect fit. So
Kulu is not a right
exactly,
player.
that's what I said.
Kulu is
but that's what. But if you watch Glasner though, he doesn't play Eze wide. He's almost like the corner of the box. He's almost like whipping those balls in, not from wide, he's almost like an left attacking midfielder. He's almost like an left attacking midfielder.
On the right, he's an inside forward, same as Son. Son has never been a winger for me. Son has never been a winger. He can't cross for shit. Come love nor money. 9 times out of 10, he can't pass. Come love nor money. 9 times out of 10. The main thing Son was good at was good enough on the ball with his feet at kicking it forward. I wouldn't even say he was the best dribbler ever, but he knew how to use his pace to do it, like Ronaldo used to, But the one thing Son was world class on is finishing. No two ways about it. But that's why, for me, Son never made it as a world class player, in opinion. But again, it's another player that we are now just definitely playing him out of what he's possibly still good at, and we're doing it with basically everybody. It is so obvious to me that whether you call people armchair supporters or whatever, it's just fucking common sense me with this one. Whatever you want to call the formation, 3-5-2, 3-4-1-2, 3-4-2-1, 5-2-2-1, whatever you want to call it, it is so obvious that they would be better under a better manager. Another player I want to bring up. I mean, James, you said you have to go, or you still got 5 minutes?
Yeah, I'm going to shoot, boys. Take care.
Mate, take care of yourself.
See you later, James.
So, mate, take care. Another player I want to bring up before I end this, and I think he gets a significant amount of shit, and I'd say a majority of it, he deserves it by what he gets on the pitch. But the one I'm going to bring up is Basuma, because with what Mike said about Porro, I think a lot of that comes down to Basuma as well, Now, when do we see Basuma make, I'll say, 90% of his mistakes? When do we see it?
In and around our own area.
In a defensive manner.
Coming from the edge of the 16-yard box from the D up to halfway line, that's where most of his mistakes are coming from, because I can say this about Basuma. From a perspective of, I got to go and watch, even I'm a Spurs supporter, I got to go and watch a lot of Brighton matches for nothing. So watching Basuma play, with how his system in his mind is, do you have the defensive guy behind him breaking up the play to pass to Basuma? Basuma uses that drive that he has in his engine to get that ball 15, 20 yards up the pitch,
and then a quick
direct
ball left, right, or centre. Yes.
He's not a guy that's going to spin round and charge back and make a tackle. That is not his strength. His wheelhouse is like Madison. He wants to attack.
And that, for me, is another player that I think mentality he's done, I think he's just been absolutely cooked at Spurs mentally, same as nearly every other player. But I do not think Basuma is half as bad as people make out. He's another player that I feel personally, we play him in such the wrong way that it just, like Mike says, exposes him to the point where, you might as well just get your iPhone out and stick it down his bloody trousers. That is how far I think he gets bloody exposed. And I don't think he is nowhere near as bad as what we see off of him. That he was wanted as the best midfielder in the Premier League, bar the top 4 or 5 clubs sort of thing.
Well, you look at what he had with him at the time at Brighton. He had Sasado behind him and McAllister in front.
What I'm saying, Corey, exactly. What I'm saying is, though, he was still played to what he is best at. Yes, box to box, drop just behind the halfway line. Let the DM do the dirty work, the ball winning ball, whatever he's got to do, or be the anchor man, whatever. Right. What did they do? Straight to Basuma. He charges forward 10, 15 yards and that. And then it was always a direct ball, left, centre, right. And then he'd come back a bit. And he used to do it time after time after time. And
He had
maybe
some of
his
the best
mentality
stats
ain't
outside
great,
the top
whatever.
six as well,
but
didn't he?
I think he is another player. If we sold him, I don't care, yeah? He has been terrible. He's one who I just would not blame for anyone for go at. But the point I'm basically getting at is I think he is exactly another one of what Mike says, except I think Porro is probably mentally stronger, that just gets played so out of sync that it just makes him look even 1 million times worse than what he was. And we can go on through other players but through this, but I think Basuma gets a lot of shit, which he deserves. But then I find a lot of people also go and make excuses for Mr. Maddison when a lot of the time he don't get his shit right and he looks pretty bad on the pitch. Why? Because of the tactics we made. And again, Basuma, I think I know there is a very, very good player there. And I think if we got the right coaching who could actually coach him up a little bit for 6 months, I think we could start seeing a better player then.
If we get the Glasner in,
It's
something like
one
that along
that
them.
I wouldn't complain about if we sold him straight away.
Yeah,
I'm not saying we got a world-class player there, but for me, a better manager will get better out of him. But it's his mentality, I think, is the problem. Sitting there getting high as fuck in a car and hanging out the window dribbling don't do you no favors for your
that
fucking
doesn't
career,
do
does it?
anything good for
No. I mean,
public
about the only thing he
perception.
didn't do was put his hand out and sort of, blow his nose. And that definitely does no favors either. And it's what Mike said. There's so many players there. I mean, it's like people on the side here also talking about Solanke, yeah? Now, for me, Solanke is a bang average striker. Nothing more, nothing less. That's not saying he's a bad player. But for me, sure as fuck, he ain't 65 million. Same as Richarlison. Yeah?
He's around 30,
to the point
30 million best.
Yeah, and we played the 40% English player problem, yeah?
English
and with that, would anyone with 65 million on here on the Spurs side have truly gone out and gone, Solanke, that's who I want?
Nope. And the good reason for it, he's now in his 10th year as a pro or something like that silly. There's a reason why both Liverpool and Chelsea let him go.
He's had one good season.
One good season at Bournemouth, where they were playing.
I think we play him wrong.
That was it.
Another one, I think we play him wrong. I think we basically use him as a target man, yeah? And he's not a bloody target man. He's a big fella, and some people say he can hold the ball up, and he gets knocked off the ball easier than Johnson sometimes, and that's going some.
Oh,
yeah?
I saw it time and time again when I saw that Southampton match.
But we play him.
Was bullied off the ball.
The point I'm making, though, he's another player that we play totally wrong. Out of every player on that pitch that we have got with Ange's tactics, and we still play him wrong, the only one who can... There's only 2 players, I think, in that Spurs team who can walk away with any sort of pride this year, yeah, of how their personal season has gone. And that is Bergvall. Yeah. Even though there's a lot to go, but you can see there's a player there. He just frustrates me when it comes to the final third where there's no shot or pass, yeah? But I think a good coach, I think he's got very high potential. It makes me physically sick saying it because I think he is an absolute shit player, but it's Johnson.
He's only there goals because of his dad.
No. He's made that team many times this year because he has scored 16 goals, more than any other player. It or lump it. He can't dribble for shit. He can't pass for shit. He can't cross for shit. Half the time he looks like he's standing. Yeah, half the time he looks like he's standing on the pitch asking for his mum to bring his pants on for him. And I think he's an awful player. But getting into that little position in the box and tapping it in, he actually does a good job. You can't take it away from him. If you're going to grill him for everything, you've also got to give credit where credit is due. And 16 goals, fair enough. They might all be tapping FIFA sweaty goals where you go down the line and put it across, but he does deliver on that side. So in that aspect, it is great.
That's the reason why I stopped playing FIFA.
don't you agree? That is exactly what we do at Spurs, isn't it? We do a FIFA, and anyone who plays FIFA on here, yeah. And I've played FIFA Pro for God's sake, mate. I used to do it on bloody YouTube and shit, yeah. Like, I know how to play FIFA, and the way you get at FIFA is you get down that side, you put that sweaty ball across there. That is why I play with 2 forward, 2 strikers, and 1 attacking midfielder that goes into a striker position. Get it down there, sweat it across. Someone will tap it in the back of the net 9 times out of 10. That is why it's called a sweaty ball. If people don't play FIFA, you probably won't get it, but you get what I mean with the tactics, yeah? And that is exactly what we do. And it suits Johnson for how he gets in now. But Johnson is another player. I think he is fucking dreadful. Yeah, I really do. Because apart from that, I think he offers nothing. But then it comes back to the same point over and over again. Get the right manager in to play the players by their right ways. And then I think we can judge a lot of them in a lot of a much, like James was saying, in a lot of a much fairer way as such. Because, yeah, we can judge them all on what we see. We can only judge on what we see. Like, I can turn around and say Archie Gray is not ready for the Premier League yet as a fucking midfielder by what I see, yeah? Blatantly. I can say that Porro has been absolute dog shit as a fucking wingback. So is a Doji. Basuma, you want to see the back of him. Nothing more, nothing to go. Baked potato. See you later. But again, they're all being played totally wrong. So is it actually that unfair that we're actually judging him to the extent we do? Alex, how you doing?
What's happening?
Same Spurs, different day.
It might be unfair, Dan, but I'm going to take the same energy I had yesterday night, Bob. Yeah, right. It's the same thing that I kept on saying, because that Frankfurt game again. If that went the other way, I could just go on my holidays. Yeah. If he wins Europa League, I want to see this energy. Yeah, when we win Europa League, Bob. Yeah, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, because I know a lot of you, and even I'm saying it as well. Yeah. Because the thing is, though, because like I said, Basuma, yeah, you're right about Basuma. Basuma.
That is all right about Basuma, but I got to say something about the kid. When he first come to Brighton, at an Asda, there was a woman that couldn't afford to pay for her shopping, and that guy walked over and paid for her shopping for her, man. There's a lot about Basuma that's wrong, but I've actually witnessed that kid pay for somebody else's shopping when she had 2 kids.
Right, Corey, I'm just going to stop you there, mate, quickly. I've got a super chat there, a user. Thanks a lot, mate. Appreciated. We have talent played in wrong positions. Ange ball, exactly the point I'm making. Corey, the reason I stopped you dead there, yeah, is I don't care.
Yeah, no,
I couldn't give a fuck.
There is a lot of
I know what you're saying and that, yeah, but I couldn't give a fuck if he goes across and pays for an old lady shopping and carries the man up the road and that. Okay, fair play, good fella, yeah. I'd help an old lady up the road if she, yeah, but it's irrelevant. I don't care what they do off the pitch. I really couldn't give a flying fuck about any of these players. I never do. I only care about Tottenham. No, do I wish any bad on no one? Of course I don't, yeah. But I really don't care what they get up to off the pitch. I don't support Son FC. I don't support fucking Basuma FC. I don't support bloody Johnson FC or Ange FC. I support Tottenham. I honestly don't care what personality these players have got, as long as they perform on the pitch. If you want to go off that pitch and go and fly a fucking rainbow flag and be a unicorn, I could not give a monkey's. Get on with what you want to do, yeah? But as long as you perform on the pitch, that is all I care about. If the other fella wants to go out and get arrested 3 or 4 times, no, it don't look good for the club, whatever and that, but then he comes on and scores a fucking hat-trick 3 games on the trot. Fine by me, mate. Go do what you got to do. I couldn't care less, as all I am bothered about is the football. Some may say that's a wrong attitude, but that is why I support a football team. I don't support... Do I like Rashford? I can't stand the fella. Can't stand him. But do I think he's better than what we've got? Yes. But for me, Rashford is just another purple patch player that you see good for 3 months, 6 months, and then he evaporates. But go on, Alex, back to what you're saying. Sorry, mate.
No, I'm just saying. It's just like, thing is, though, you can see right now, right? Because the thing is, the Frankfurt game just woken me up, because I sat there and thought, he should have been gone after this. It should have been done and dusted. But he did what he did. Because of that coaching staff, and I still say it's the coaching staff and the players. And I won't be surprised. He'll beat Bodo Glimt easily. I know that sounds disrespectful, but if I don't feel confident about beating Bodo Glimt as a Tottenham fan, I don't know what we're doing here. right?
We got done by bloody, what was it, Gwent or whatever it is at Wembley. I was there. So
I know,
again,
but Dan, if we can't be confident about beating Bodo Glimt, this is Mr. Box Office speaking, by the way, who's been saying this about this manager, how bad this manager is since day dot. So I don't care about being embarrassed anymore because I've been embarrassed how long now, for how many years now. So it's no different. That's why I've switched off so badly. But the point is, though, is that if you wouldn't be surprised if he plays 3 at the back in the final. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised, because this is what this manager does, and he's going to be here till the end of the season, no matter what it looks like, no matter what. And I wouldn't be surprised if Basuma, because I agree with you, Dan. I agree with you, Dan. He gets a hard deal. Yeah, he gets a very hard deal. I saw something in the press earlier today, a couple of days ago, that they wanted to sell Poro, and I was like, really? I mean, I was like, are you having a laugh? You know what I mean? I agree with you about Vicario. I think Vicario, you know, he might have made mistakes, but sometimes these tactics are ruining him. Yes, it is. He's a great shot stopper, though, because he's saved us how many times?
Many a time. I never said he was a bad player.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
No,
Dan.
I know you're not.
What I mean?
I know that.
I'm agreeing with you. Don't get used to it, though. But the point is, though, right? It's this, you know, it's the point I'm making is, all jokes aside, it's that, you know, I'm seeing a lot of people having a go at some of these players. Basuma was probably the number one from most of these Tottenham fans. But the point is, unfortunately, it's on that Europa League, and he's winning it at the moment. He's winning it. I would want to make a bet on it, but I ain't got money. You know what I mean? I wouldn't need to make a bet on it, because that's how bad it is now. Because that Frankfurt game woke me up big time. Yeah, and against Liverpool, you know what he's doing. You know exactly what he's doing. You know what I mean? Everyone's going mad. I'm sitting there thinking,
Right.
what are you going mad for?
Alex, let me stop you a second, because I'm just looking at some stats here, All right, Bodo Glimt from last season, 25th September, I'm looking at. I know it goes further than that, They beat Porto at home 3-2, and they got a red card in the process. Okay, they lost to Carrier Bag, I call them, because I can't bloody pronounce it at home. But they also beat Besiktas at home 2-1. Tel Aviv at home 3-1. They destroyed Twente 5-2 at home. Destroyed Olympiacos at home 3-0. They even went away. They even done Lazio, for God's sake, when it came down to the crunch, at their own ground. I think people are underestimating this club and just thinking of the name Bodo Glimt and not looking back in the past a little bit and seeing the name Gwent.
Okay, fair enough. Good argument.
These fellas are no much, mate. These fellas are no much.
Listen, Dan, I hear your points. And like I said, I don't care either way. I don't care either way now. You know what I mean? Because you know what? Like I said, if we get beaten by Bodo Glimt, right? I wish it was Glenn's Frankfurt, because then I wouldn't even be bothered anymore. I'm halfway there already. I'm a third of the way there already, Dan. So to be honest, it don't know it's different to me, But the point is, is that the way it went down against Frankfurt, right? When it was one game until he was like the season's done, he pulled that out because of his coaching staff. I would not be surprised, because he knows. And like I said, there's no guarantee he's gonna stick around himself, because I think he'll walk. Like I predicted on my channel, Mr. Box Office TV again. You get what I'm saying?
Fuck how he gets out of there, mate.
I know, but I'm just saying at the moment, there's no guarantee. And also, there's no guarantee we're going to get someone better at the moment as well. And people might say I'm being stupid, but what happened when Pratt actually went? What happened when Paul Mitchell left?
We ain't getting worse.
We got worse. We are not getting worse manager than Ange Postecoglou. But Dan, I need to see things, bruv. I need to see
Oh, I
things,
get
Bob. And
that, I get
I'm
that.
still.
Ange is a winner.
I've been waiting for seeing things for so
Right.
long now, bro. I'm
Do you
so.
think Scott Parker or Ryan Mason would do a worse job than Ange? Personal opinion. That's all we can go on. Opinion. Do you think Scott Parker
I
or
wouldn't be
Ryan
surprised.
Mason would do worse?
I wouldn't be surprised if I don't know. I honestly wouldn't know.
Opinion.
I wouldn't know.
Nothing more, nothing less. None of us know.
I'd say probably yes, but probably no by a little bit.
Okay,
at the
so
moment.
it doesn't really, if we go and get fucking Mickey Mouse in there, it ain't going to be no worse than fucking Ange Postecoglou.
Well, but Dan, do we know for sure? Because at the moment, but Dan, I would say
The only way it's getting
yes.
worse, mate, is if we get relegated. That is the only way.
Yeah, but Dan, we're not getting relegated though. Yeah, I agree with you. Right? Even Alex's dad is saying this to me. I was having a conversation with him yesterday. Even he was saying this to me. He's calling me up saying, I need to talk about Tottenham. I said, really? Do you want to talk about Tottenham? I told you about Tottenham already. And he's saying all the things that we've been saying for how many months, Tom? You know what I mean? Sorry for his sauce and spit there. Sorry about that. Getting a bit too excited. No, I shouldn't say that. But anyway, moving on. Yeah, you know what I mean? Look at Mikel laughing his head off there. Joking, nice. How you doing? Well done for the engagement, by the way. But anyway, moving on. Yeah. What point is though? Yeah. Right. I'm trying to get to the point, but it's like I don't know whether it's going to get worse. I don't know whether it's going to get worse because at the moment I could see it happening, getting worse. You know what I mean? Because that's how this club works sometimes. You know what I mean? I don't know, but at the moment, because of that stupid Europa League, right? He can win it, and he will win it the way it's looking at the moment because he will beat Bodo Glimt. I know he gave me the results and stuff, but you watch on Thursday, right? He will have a plan. He will have a plan because he knows his career is based on is grinding on that straight away. Because I saw that Frankfurt game and I thought, no, he's done. He's got to be done. He has to be done after that, and he wasn't done. And he's given an easy route to that final, and he's hanging on that. And we're not getting relegated as well. So that's the thing as well. It would have been better if we had better teams to compete to try and, give us a little bit of worry. Even Manchester United, by the way, as well, because they're no shrinking violets as well. Let's be honest here as well.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
Winning DNA in their blood, mate. We don't.
Oh no, I know. But it's just this is the problem I have at the moment, bro. And this is the thing. I'm finally watching other people, even people with big channels, right, saying the same things we've been saying. By the way, big up to you, Dan. At last, you're on We Are Tottenham TV. I've been asking for it for a long time now. Yeah, I have been asking for it a long time now because you've been talking the truth a lot recently. You know what I mean? You know I support you, bruv. Yeah, but they're not that bad, Ben and Sim. But I love them too. You know what I mean? They're deluded, but I love them too. You know what I mean? On a personal level, I love them too. You know what I mean? But the point is,
let's just keep this professional, not personal.
I know, but Dad, you know, I'm being
sarcastic, mate. I was being sarcastic.
You know, I'm like, they know what I'm talking about anyway. But it's that stupid Europa League. It's that stupid Europa League at the moment, and that's the thing. And I'm just watching people on other channels say, "Oh, we need to get him out. We need to get him out." It's too late for that. It's too late. It should have been done in November.
We know that, Alex, but he got rid of Jose Mourinho before of all the managers in the world before a bloody final, for God's sake.
But if he does that, though, bruv,
he had text number twice.
If he does that, though, bruv, if he sacks him before a semi-final, right, and we don't go on to win Europa League, right, watch the fan base again. You know what I mean?
Part of it, yes, I agree with part of it.
That's the thing. That's the problem. This is the problem. This is the problem we put ourselves in. This is the problem we put ourselves in because we should have made decisions earlier on. But because it's our fault as well, because we said, well, you got to keep him. We've got to stick with the manager, right? Because this is what we said. We need to see it. I even said it myself, right? But now it was so stupidly clear that we should have never got this guy in the first place. We are stuck with him to the end of the season. And he will win the Europa. And he knows it. He knows it, Dan. He knows it. You can see he knows it. You know what I mean? So this is the thing. I know I'm being facetious. I know I'm being devil's advocate here, but the truth hurts. Unfortunately, truth hurts coming from Mr. Box office. And that's all I've got to say. Back to you, Dan. I'm done.
No, but I think you're right on pretty much everything you're saying. It's nothing any of us haven't said. And you called this out pretty much from day. You want to see this shit go, yeah? But in a way,
Not the only one.
Levy has actually gone and done what a majority of Spurs fans asked for, and that is get an attacking manager. I mean, if people call this attacking manager, like playing whatever turns you on at the end of the day, I can't say that does.
Attacking, get to the box and pass it back.
We don't even get to the fucking box half the time. And
There's
the
the
main
goal. Let's
thing,
go back to the keeper.
No, we don't. The main thing we get is up our own box. That is half the problem, and that's not what turns me on. And the other part of it is basically he's stuck by the manager through thick and thin, basically, which is what it looks like, yeah. And like they've said, don't drop him when it's coming to cup finals or cup semi-finals, whatever else. Don't do what you did this. Don't do what you did that. I think Levy saw this coming a mile off. No, I don't think he employed Ange or let Lange do it or whatever for this to happen. But one thing people do with Daniel Levy, yeah, too many people, and I'll say this to anybody on here, and I've said it before, too many people speak about that fella with a I hate Levy hat on, yeah? This is where I come back to a point that I made at the start of the show. It's about being realistic in life, yeah? And I don't give a toss. I will argue anybody out there, black and blue, on facts, not opinions, that Daniel Levy is a fucking good businessman, and he is a he is a very, very, very intelligent person, yeah? Pardon me. Now, when it comes to football, he is not very good, and he should be on a sheet somewhere. He is definitely not up to standards. He should definitely be on paperwork on a fucking wall. Whereas when it comes to business side of things, yeah, what gets me away from him in that? Hang on, yeah, hang on. And I think Levy has seen this coming since, like, going into the season, basically, and that, yeah, since about 15, 20 games. But I think we could all see, I was one of the ones who said we could have a relegation battle, but we won't be going down, yeah? And I think he saw that as well. And I think he thought, well, you know what? Fuck it. Chris Eubank, Nigel Benn, other money coming into the club, whatever else. We ain't going to get Champions League come love nor money unless he does somehow get that Europa, which would just be criminal in its way. Yeah. And he has sat back and thought, well, do you know what? We ain't getting relegated. The club doesn't rely on the Champions League income anymore. Even though obviously Levy still wants it and we still want, yeah, but we don't need to rely on it. We are one of the only clubs on this planet that can actually support ourselves without having to even sell a single fucking player or get into a European competition. And we could support ourselves for the next 10 years quite easily. Yeah. I'm not saying it'd look pretty, but we could. Chelsea can't do it. Why do you think they always get so many youth academy players through and so many bloody good ones and sell them so much? Because they have to. Yeah. Other teams, they can't support themselves. Spurs are one of the very few that can actually support themselves with doing nothing but being Spursy. And he has basically, I think, sat back and thought, do you know what? We ain't going down. There you go, fans. This is what you've asked for. This is what I'm going to give you. And he's going to sit back with a smug look on the end at the end of the season, and he's going to turn around and sack Ange, or Ange's going to walk. What I think is going to happen, and he's going to say, "Look, Ange, you're going to go. You got to go." And I think Ange wants to go as well. Yeah, I mean, he has had some serious abuse here, which he deserves, and then there's been some abuse that he don't deserve, that people don't deserve. Yeah, keep it on a, do I say, professional way. You don't have to go calling him a fat cunt and everything else in that. No, just tell him you're a fucking shit manager. Get the fuck out. You don't have to start making it personal, yeah? And with that one, I think Levy's just sat back and seen this coming a million miles away because he is more intelligent than people give him credit for. They seem to think he is just this thick person because he don't know how football works, yeah? And there ain't many sociopaths out there that are stupid. Yeah, they are usually high IQ. You don't get to the top of a business or to the top of anything through being stupid or nice. You get to the top through being smart, and you get to the top through being cold. It's dog eat dog world for me. And I reckon he's seen this coming a mile off. And he's just basically sat back and let it happen. And when Ange's going to go, they've either got a deal of like, do you know what, give me 3 million and I'll just fuck off. Or it's going to have to be done the hard way, whatever way. And he can turn around, and then with all the fans that have started to turn on him, because there's a lot more now Levy haters than there ever has been. Yeah, there's still a fair few Ange lovers, but I do think that one is drizzling out now. Yeah, where even to the point that they're starting to want Ange out. And Levy knew this would happen because he knew this football weren't going to win nothing and we were going to go down. So the 40% that would have still wanted Ange in, Ange gets the sack. Now go over to the Levy haters as well. We're now down to about 10%, just random numbers, just coming up with an idea that want Ange in. So Ange goes.
Yeah, and only 10% of the fan base gets pissed off, right?
Exactly. He now sits back and says, people, I tried.
Yeah.
I gave you what you wanted. I gave you your Tottenham back.
By the way, Dan,
I
quickly, because I have to go, right? So one thing I will say to back what you said, right? I've said it with the whole fucking buying youth players, right? Because this fan base has been whining about not bringing in youth and not like getting youth through the team, right? What did we do? We bought 4 youngsters, 5, 6 youngsters, like Vuskovic, the Korean kid.
Either way,
Young,
we know we bought
Young, Bergvall, Gray.
Yaman Hook. Yaman Hook, you're talking about.
Hook, Kinski,
The kid from Man City.
Vuskovic, and other kids, right? 6 or 7 kids we bought in, and we are trying to get them through, right? And this is something that the fan base has asked for, right? Same thing you said. Fan base asked to stick by the manager and not sack them for the slightest thing. He's done that, right? I know it sounds ridiculous because we are talking about losing millions of pounds here, right? But I wouldn't be surprised if he done it purposefully to just show this fan base that listen, you guys don't know shit and you've been criticizing me for everything, right? So now I've proven you that this doesn't work. Stuff, right? Okay, with this I have to go because I have a meeting.
See you later, Mike. Thanks for coming on and speak to you again soon, mate. And that is the point I'm making. I think Levy saw this a mile away, like quite a few of us did. Maybe not as early as some of us did, yeah. But I think he saw this a mile away. And he has given fans basically what a lot of fans have screamed for, this and that, and this and that, to the point that you've now even got people saying, I want my fucking Levy back, get this prick out my club. Yeah. He is now going to sit back at the end of the season. And I know he never does usually anything in front of the fans, yeah. In that aspect, he's a very shy person, it comes across, yeah. Not just don't give a fuck, very shy person, whatever, not one to put in a bunch of people, whatever, and that. And it's more the fact of he's a businessman, yeah. But it would not surprise me that after this season, whether we win that Europa or not, that Levy doesn't go into a press conference, because that's not Levy. That's not him, yeah? He can't deal with that shit. But does a video. And then goes and says on there, I am sorry, Tottenham fans, but I tried to give you what you want. I gave you an attacking manager. I gave him money. I stuck by the manager. I didn't sack the manager when loads of Spurs fans were out there shouting to sack the manager, like he usually does, like they did with Conte and whatever else and that, yeah, and other managers that we've done. When people were screaming for Poch's head like fucking idiots, he went and did it and that. And he says, I stuck by him till the end. But sorry, this man has to go now because he is obviously not good enough for Tottenham Hotspur. And look what we were. And I want better for the club. And he's going to sit back and basically say, fuck you, but in his head to everybody else. And there's going to be so many out there who just bite it and just say, well, Levy did it for us and whatever. And the pressure is going to come off of him. That is my opinion. Nothing more, nothing less. It's an opinion.
Something that really gets
last bit I'm going to add to it, yeah? Last bit I'm going to add to this. And this is another one. I called this out 9 months ago now, yeah? 9 months. Again, Levy ain't thick. Not like people think. Take your Levy hater hats off and be realistic. The fella is not fucking clueless. He is probably more intelligent than everyone on this panel and everyone on the chat put together. He is at the top on the business for a reason. No, he just don't know. He just don't care about running a football club. That is all it is. Business of football. He don't know. But the rest of it, he's a billionaire or a multi-millionaire for a fucking reason, yeah? I think he's got one card on his hand. One card. I might be wrong.
MP.
Possibly, I will be wrong, yeah? But I think that when it comes to the end of this, and there's going to be more Levy haters out than there ever has been, because there is at the moment, the protests are get a little bit bigger, whatever else. I think what that man is going to do is put his hand in his pocket, because he does do it. He did it with Conte. And don't be surprised, people, if out of nowhere you get a big press conference and Ange and sorry, not Ange, and Pochettino is sitting at the table. Because if he goes and does that, I will put a fucking £1,000 on here and now to any charity you wish. I can't give an exact number, but 70 to 80% of this fan base will just be so happy to see the back of Ange anyway. And then the pure love of Poch will come in anyway. And they will sit there and pray and say, thank you, Mr. Levy.
I think they would.
That
but
is what I think is going to happen.
Something I've got to add to the whole Levy thing here is like one of the smartest businessmen out there, footballing wise, nah. But he's the highest paid chairman of any football club in the world of football, I think. Just in England alone. But like the guy's paying himself $5 million a year for being such a lackluster on like giving us what we need on the pitch, you know. He's making money, he's making bank for a reason. And we don't, like you said, we don't need the Champions League spots anymore. We're just happy to stay in the Premier League and then sell off a boxing event. Or like the ones that were getting me, we were losing earlier on this season as like insert rapper name here at the Tottenham Stadium. Oh, we just lost again. Beyonce at the stadium. That is, I can't stand when they were doing PR like that. That was so it left a bad taste in my mouth as a football fan, you know.
It basically comes down to it. But like I said, I'm going to end it on that because I've already dragged this on longer than I'm meant to, as I usually show when I say, well, I'm only going to do a show for an hour and a half or whatever and that, yeah. Because I've got to go pick up some dog shit now, and I can probably do that with a smile on my face.
I've got walls to paint.
Spurs. Well, do you know what? I'd rather leave you painting the walls. My wife does that sort of stuff.
Bye, purple.
DIY.
Well, I'm saying
DIY.
you see me.
DIY, I am absolutely shockingly terrible, and I'd probably end up with more paint on the fucking floor. That is why my wife.
I've got more paint on the ceiling,
and I didn't. I deal with the money side of things. I deal with stuff like that and everything. She deals with the DIY. We both know what we're good at, and we're both good at cooking. And in that aspect, people, Alex, I'm sure we're going to see you again along very soon. And same with you, Corey. Cheers for jumping on, and Mike,
brother.
And I just want to say a big thank you to Phil Coyes, obviously, and to Mark, and to a user, Rob Frank. Sorry, going down it. Rob Ski, new member, thank you. Tom81, Jason H, thank you very much. A user again. People, do not be surprised at the end of this if by the time of the start of next season that we have Poch sitting at that table.
The only MP
and it's
I
just
trust.
a personal. And it's just a personal opinion. Because
wait till we win Europa. Wait till after Europa League.
Okay, either way, I'm giving my opinion of what I think is going to happen.
No, I'm not dismissing. I'm not dismissing what you're saying. I'm saying at the moment, just wait till, because I wanted to chime in, but you're having your unleashing, so I had to give you a moment. You know what I mean? It's your channel, bruv. You know what I mean? But I was just saying, just with the fans. Wait until that Europa League, because you know,
if we win
after
it,
how long of not winning anything, and winning Europa League, regardless what we think about what has happened with the teams, because you know I feel the same way. I don't like saying this, Dan. I do not like saying this, but unfortunately, right, this is why we are interested still in this season. Let's get that absolutely clear right now, yeah, right? Because if we didn't do anything against Frankfurt, if we were out. We wouldn't be doing. We'd be talking about other managers. We would even be talking about Liverpool and all these games. We wouldn't care. We wouldn't care because the season's done and dusted. Then, so when Europa League, if we win Europa, which I think we will, right? By hook by crook, we will win. Yeah. Then we'll see what happens. Yeah. I will be in the mud either way, and then I can just go on my holidays. I don't care.
Now imagine it this way, Alex, and I will end it on that. Yeah. Now, imagine we do go and win that Europa Cup and Ange gets the sack. And then in a month or two's time, Poch is sitting at that table. You are going to have so many happy Spurs fans here that it is going to be unreal. And to me, I'm not going to say on the show what I think the repercussions will be, but I'm sure a few people can work it out. So thanks for coming on, everyone. Thanks for watching. Give us a quick like and subscribe, and I will see you people again soon. Take care of yourselves, everybody.
I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. Give it to me like